Hello and welcome back to Reach for Greatness. Today, speaking about healing and self-love. This is your co-host, Angèle Cristina, online visibility rockstar and Facebook Lives rockstar, and today co-hosting Reach for Greatness. Today we have 5 beautiful women lined up for you. And we're going to have the first one coming in very, very soon at 1. We're going to start with Rhian, who's actually going to be speaking about holistic love and intimacy and self-love. This is one of the ingredients. Hi, Len, thank you so much. One of the ingredients we forget to put in our recipe for our business. We really forget to take care of ourselves. We really forget to find time to stop and nurture ourselves. Something that I have learned, unfortunately, the hard way, because I actually ended up getting unwell and I was pushing so much that actually my back started being in pain, and the pain kicked in, I believe, for me to stop and rest. Later on then at 1:30, we're going to have the beautiful Bridget Zyka, I hope I say that correctly, who is the body positivity coach, who will be speaking about self-acceptance and the journey of body positivity. And she's an amazing, beautiful woman who really took the plunge to speak about this, and I really truly believe that everyone needs to speak about this. Then later we have Lana, and I call her Lana MeditAngel because she is actually a Reiki master, an energy healer, and a freedom enhancer. What title is that, right? So really amazing. After Lana, we then have Gloria Prest, I believe. Yes, I got the surname correctly. And Gloria is actually a hypnotherapist and counselor, and she will be speaking about the body, mind, and gut connection. So it will be really interesting for us to learn about psychology for everyday life, basically. And last but not least, we then have AnnaLouise, Haigh, who is the soul whisperer. So the soul whisperer, she is someone who's going to remind us of our intuition, and she is also going to tell us and share with us how to awaken our wow, which is something amazing because I am the founder of Wondrous Online Women, which is wow as well. So I hope this is being seen. I am just going to check the tech one more time because okay, so I hope everything is okay. Here I am going to just check that everything is okay and everyone can see me. Hello Sabine, thank you so much for coming back in. I apologize for that, but I'd rather have the technical difficulties happen with me than with our guests. So hopefully Rhian is, I'm back, of course I'm back. I will never let you down. So I hope that our guests will start finding us and that Rhian will be here. I am here just sharing this video out. Fantabulous, you are amazing. So I will do that as well. And as soon as that is done, Rhian, we can join forces because I am hilarious, but it's okay. As long as it didn't happen to you, I am happy that I experienced it. And by the way, I have no idea how I did that. I feel very capable. And I will look that up because it has never happened to me in a year, what I just did, that I flipped the screen. So that's okay. Live with 5 women about healing and self-love. Let's do this, Rhian. So here we go. Rhian, I actually can't see you to add you, so kindly make sure that you are live from your phone, held horizontally, and also that you do not have the lock screen switched on, okay? And that you are obviously liking the page. So looks really good here, and I hope that more than 1 people will actually come on the live because felt like maybe we lost a bit the sync that we had before. There were about 10 people. I hope you all come back, beautiful 10 people. Very excited now. Okay, so I still have my chat box open, ladies, just in case you need to check in with me. And Sabine, I have you as well. Okay, so as I was saying a bit before, the Reach for Greatness is a space where women come together because I truly believe that together women can move mountains. And this space has been created so that any online business entrepreneur, which actually this world can become very lonely, can find other women. Brilliant, Rhian, thank you. And they collaborate together. This is not about competition. This is about sharing our gifts. And I can see you now. So we have our first guest coming in, Rhian Kivits, and I'm going to invite her on, and she is going to for you whilst I prepare my notes about her area of expertise and her zone of genius. So, hello, gorgeous. How are you today?
Oh, I am very, very well, thank you. And thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh, absolute pleasure. I hope you were exercising your neck properly with the first part of this live.
I was. I actually do Kundalini yoga, Angèle. So it wouldn't have been a problem for me to have done the interview upside down, but it might have been a problem for the viewers. I'm not sure.
Exactly. So thank you so much for coming back in, everyone who's watching this live again. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Faith. Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks, Sabine. Thank you so much for watching. So, Rhian, your title is Holistic Love and Intimacy Specialist. I always like taking people back so that they start getting to know you, like I pleasantly did this week or last week, I can't remember. How did this fall on your lap, Rhian, and where did it come from?
It's a delicious title, isn't it? It didn't actually really fall on my lap at all. It's been something that has emerged and evolved over the years. So going back now many, many years, I actually started my career in public relations, and then when I had my children, I made a career shift and I went into education. And I think it was there that I first found this real passion for supporting people and helping people and seeing people grow and thrive. But you know, as you move up the ladder in work like that, what happens is you spend more and more time on the management of staff and the admin and the paperwork and the funding, and less time with the people that you really love, the students, the learners, you know? So I became dissatisfied and I became really burned out. And that started to happen for me, I would say, in about 2005, 2006. And I was also in a very difficult, quite abusive relationship back in those days where I was actually financially trapped. So it was very painful for me because I was living a life that looked on the outside to be very successful and very abundant. But on the inside, I was really struggling and really lonely and really needed a lot of healing and a lot of change. So it was through that experience that I first discovered complementary therapies. And I had been dabbling in the world of things like massage and physical body work for many, many years, and I'd absolutely loved that. But I hadn't at that point discovered really and truly the world of energy. And when I discovered the world of energy, everything opened up to me. My Reiki path brought a lot of magic into my life. And I started to look at myself differently. I started to look at what my potential could be and how I needed to heal myself. And then I just wanted to share that and to teach that to as many people as possible, really anybody who would listen. So I spent a long time taking attunements, doing the inner work, exploring my personal journey, qualifying as a Reiki master, as a crystal healer, taking initiations in tantric energy. I made many journeys to Egypt where I took initiations in the temples. I just, everything expanded and grew for me. And I could see that as I entered what I like to call my priestess path, which is kind of my divine feminine place of being, that I outgrew this need to be in the abusive relationship, and I found my way to leave that space. And eventually I met what I call my destiny partner, my soulmate partner, whatever you want to call him, through the work that I do. And we moved to Glastonbury together, to one of the places you could call the spiritual hub of the UK. And since then, it's been even more of a beautiful and expansive path. And so I trained as a professional sex and relationship therapist because I believe it's really important to have the grounded professional training to underpin what I do. And I worked in the UK for a national organisation with couples and individuals with sex and relationship problems. And for the last year, I've been working online, and I have been blending together everything I know and everything I do. And so it was difficult to find a title that fitted. You know, I didn't want to call myself a therapist exactly anymore. And I didn't really want to ignore the fact that I had that specialism. So that's how I came up with the title, Holistic Love and Intimacy Specialist.
Wow, Rhian. I mean, I thought that I speak a lot, but you do, but it's beautiful. So thank you, because that was it was such a deep but beautiful and wholesome description that I actually was astounded with even the words that you used. And also thank you for sharing your journey and your path, because there might be some viewers who are watching us today. Is it live or replay? So don't forget, if you're watching this on replay, do write #replay. If you're watching live, do let us know where you are coming in live from. And you might inspire someone. Perhaps someone is going through something similar. Self-love, Rhian, is something that unfortunately most businesswomen, at least myself, it's not even on the list. I'm not even going to say last on the list, something we completely, absolutely forget. And then we start fitting everything together, and website, and this, and email notifications, and funnels, and bundles, and landing pages. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm on the floor. What can someone who's watching us do or start doing so that they love themselves a tiny bit more every single day?
What a great question, Angèle. Thank you. You know, what you do, what you offer, is a perfect example of how we can blend together that beautiful place of honoring that is self-love, and that need that we have to be visible and to be present and to create our businesses. So it's amazing that you're interviewing me today, because you really are the living embodiment of what I'm talking about. Yeah? What we really need to do is start to see how we can express ourselves from a deep, deep place of self-honoring. And that means that if we're in a space of needing to soothe and have compassion and to heal ourselves and listen to ourselves, because we need the rest, we need the self-care activities, we need to nourish ourselves with good food, or we need to walk by the ocean, then that's what we need to do. But if we need to get on the glitter lipstick and the jewelry, and we need to rock it out, and we need to say, you know, I love myself because I'm awesome, that is also an expression of self-love. So what I'm talking about here is going with the flow, being in a place of such deep connection with yourself that you know what you need to do, and you can intuitively follow the red thread and find exactly where you need to be, who you need to be with, and that creates this place where you can be the best possible version of you. Yeah.
Rhian, how can you tell? How can you tell that you are not in flow? What is the person watching us saying to themselves, I'm not in flow? Because I think the word flow is something that perhaps yourself and even I would know, like, yeah, I'm in alignment, that's how I call it. But how can a person watching us tell that they are not in the flow?
Yes. So this morning, for example, I will tell you what happened to me. I got up out of bed, and I actually didn't do my morning routine, because in the back of my mind there was a whole list of tasks I need to do today for my business. And I looked at my list and I felt completely overwhelmed, even though all the tasks are lovely tasks that I will enjoy doing, right? And I felt uninspired because I felt overwhelmed. And I felt like I didn't know where to start. Should I be posting something on the news feed? Should I be sending an email to one of these clients? Should I be setting up my MailChimp for my Zoom calls later to tell everybody what the link is? I did not know what to do or where to go. So that to me was a sign that actually it is not worth even starting doing any of those things, because I am not in flow and I am not in alignment. So I needed to bring myself back into my connection with myself. And I thought, what shall I do? Shall I lose half an hour here? And actually what I did was I meditated with one of my crystal skulls. That's another story. But I thought, right, I'm going to lose half an hour here and I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to connect back in with myself in a way that works for me. And then I know that the rest of my day will be super, super productive. Or am I going to sit here uninspired, trying to aggressively push and force myself to do stuff, even though I know that the output isn't going to be right? And I truly believe that when you're in flow, the people you are reaching out to will feel that. They will see it. They will look into your eyes when you're live on the camera. They will look at your post and they'll feel the energy in your words. They'll see it and they'll be drawn to you because you're magnetic. But if you're not in flow, and you know you're not because you're disconnected and you're tight and you're constricted and you don't feel confident, then everybody will feel that on some level. So
I
this is why
totally love.
yeah,
I
that
love
half
what you
an
were
hour.
just saying. I experienced it myself as well. And now finally, I find that I'm in a place where if I wake up in the morning, like this morning, I was like, I have 5 interviews, the tech might go wrong. And I start going somewhere like spiraling in a weird panic, anxious mood. I'm like, okay, I go for a walk and I do nothing.
Yes.
But you said a very nice word. Lose 30 minutes. Hi, Melissa. Hi, gorgeous, beautiful people who are watching. Thank you so much for your support. You said lose 30 minutes. This is how the brain will kind of, you know, dangle the carrot in front of our nose. You're going to lose 30 minutes, but then gain so much over the day. So how can this, for the business entrepreneurs who are watching us, how can you make that flip? What is the decision that they can do today and from today onwards to change from the losing 30 minutes to actually gaining the rest of the day?
It's an amazing concept, and I can promise you that it works. What you really need to do is to be challenging yourself mindfully. So we know that when this thought comes up, it comes from a place of feeling not good enough, feeling unhealed, feeling like we should be working harder or doing more, and we're beating ourselves with a stick, you know. And so we need to become aware that that's not your true inner voice. This is our critical parent. This is our this is our worst enemy speaking to us. And so by just very simply taking a moment, taking a breath, checking in with ourselves, and that mindful process of observing a feeling, feeling a feeling, and then asking ourselves, so what does this mean? I promise you that will bring you into the space of understanding this is not your true authentic voice speaking. Gift yourself with that half an hour for that walk or that meditation, and that's how you flip the mindset. There does have to be some discipline. We do have to stop and take that breath. And that
this is like mic drop moment. I don't have a mic, but I have a pen drop moment. So Rhian, I absolutely love, I know we could talk forever, but I would like you to share perhaps with us what stands in between us and loving ourselves. What's that stumbling block? What, maybe there are more than one. There's so many things that we, as you were just saying, doubting ourselves and not believing in ourselves, and confidence. What are these things that stand in the way that perhaps we can start choosing and picking them and perhaps even removing them?
Yes. So I've broken this down into 3 very specific categories. We have lack of connection with self, and that can
please type it down if you're hearing this.
Yes,
thank you.
Please do. Perhaps someone can even put it in the comments box.
Exactly.
That
yes,
would
please.
be cool. So we have the lack of connection with ourselves, and that can be caused by past trauma. That means we find it too difficult to be present in our bodies and really tune into who we are. It can be caused by having had difficult relationships. It can be caused by having had problems in one's upbringing and forming real negative, you know, beliefs and thoughts about ourselves that hold ourselves back. We have the second category, which is lack of compassion for ourselves. So this is the need to push ourselves and not to be kind to ourselves, to actually be cruel to ourselves because our perfectionism or our need to get certain results because we think we should comes in, and we stop treating ourselves like our own best friend or like the sweet inner child, and we start being cruel. So the lack of compassion is a problem. And then the last thing is that lack of understanding of the cosmic law of abundance. There is an unlimited flow of abundance available to all of us. And that means unlimited wealth. And within wealth, we have rich relationships, rich bank accounts, beautiful experiences, fabulous friendships. It's not all about the money, it's about wealth consciousness, right? So we have that. We have this understanding when we get into the law of abundance and we feel that that is all around us. We know that there are unlimited clients. So you and I, we don't need to compete for clients. The same women might want to work with both of us. Maybe not. Maybe I'll call in a woman today who wants to work with you. Maybe you'll call in a woman who wants to work with me. I don't care. The fact is your abundance is my abundance. And I absolutely love that. So all these kind of limited beliefs around what abundance means and failing to see that life can deliver to you is a real problem that we need to shift out of the way when it comes to self-love. So if you can work on those three things, connection, compassion, and abundance, I promise you, you will get there.
That's so, so beautiful. There are a couple of comments. So Melissa says, hi Shola, and hi Karen. I really absolutely love this. And one of the sides also for me with abundance is recently I actually needed a service of a seamstress and a seamstress. And I remember I went here. Thank you, Gloria. Gloria says, I could not agree more. Thank you so much. And I went there, and she, poor soul, she was all over the place because her husband was taken to hospital. And I walked out of there, you know, after giving her my item to fix. And I walked out of there and I said, my goodness, I take my health so for granted that I nearly wanted to cry, you know, and even I get emotional saying it because I have it. And when I don't, then, you know, so for me, even health personally is something that brings it. Obviously, we are abundant in health when we are healthy, because when we are not, we choose to see how we're going to put ourselves back together or what we need to do. So also for me, it's also health. I remember walking out of this woman's place and saying, my goodness. And I spent the whole afternoon being really in tune with myself and saying, my goodness, I am so strong today. I am healthy. I don't have any pain, you know, of any sort. And I was, you know, connecting with the people who used to have pains in the past. But so abundance is more than just money. The money is also a side of it. So I'm really, really happy you brought that up.
I agree with you. And I myself have had these experiences, Angèle. In the past, I've actually had 13 miscarriages, including a very late, quite a late pregnancy loss. And this took me to a space where I was almost at rock bottom. I was almost broken, and I was failing to be able to open my eyes and look at the world around me and see any beauty at all in the world. And I was able to bring myself from that space back into this space of having my glow again and having my faith in the universe, in abundance, in beauty, in other people again, because of the inner work that I have done on the self-love. You know, it's one of the big issues, I think, with pregnancy loss is that sometimes when this happens to a woman, she can really turn in on herself because she was responsible for that, you know, that little life. And she can feel very, very guilty and hold a lot of pain around that when things go wrong. So this was something that I experienced, and I really had to do a lot of work to pick up again, to regain my mental health, my emotional health, my spiritual health, and my physical health, because everything is connected. And so when one part of the puzzle doesn't fit, the other parts slip.
Thank you so much, Rhian, for sharing it. For sharing that. I actually was interviewing someone yesterday who I feel you should connect with, Melissa. And she actually wrote a book about her own story, and now wrote a second book about numerous ladies' stories who went through something similar like this. So please kindly do connect. This is exactly what Reach for Greatness is all about. Hooray! Yes. But thank you for sharing this, because I believe that we live in this online world and everyone tries to be perfect. But as women, we have our own experiences, our own turmoils and hardships and difficulties. And for me, it was about facing my fears, and for yourself, it was about going, beyond this moment in your life and believing that there still is hope at the end of the tunnel. Indeed, from all this difficult road and journey that you have experienced, you have put together this 21-day self-love program. And I absolutely, is that correct? Yes, it is a program. And I absolutely can't wait to hear more about it, and for all these women to jump in and join, because you are such a gift to this world. And from the hardships, you have chosen to turn around 360 degrees, and you have chosen that the story happened to you for a reason, to be able to inspire other women around you. And I love that. So tell us about this beautiful program that you have put together for us all.
Yeah, so actually the doors are not opening on my 21-day program until later this week. But if anybody would like a taste of what is going on, they can actually join my free event, which did start yesterday. It's called the Free 5-Day Abundant Self-Love Uprising, because this is about women getting up and lifting themselves from that place of apathy whereby they don't feel connected or abundant. And we are going to be working through a variety of healing processes, psychological processes. There will even be energy healing and breath work to come later this week. So anybody who's interested can join that. I think I gave you the link earlier. It's bit.ly.
I am going to just post it. Brilliant.
Yes, they can catch up with yesterday's presentation, and they can also download their self-love bingo card, which is something I'm doing this week as a bit of a challenge. And then later on this week, the doors will open for my 21-day program, which is going to be a kind of August Summer of Love Fest, where we will really dive into those 3 pillars and do the inner work together for 21 accountable days. So I would suggest anyone who's interested should jump into the free stuff right now and see what they feel, because they've got nothing to lose.
Definitely. Can you remind us again the 3 pillars, Rhian, so that I actually type them in myself, so that anyone who's watching this on replay can start getting curious with the comments?
Yes, so it is connection with the self, compassion for the self, and the cosmic law of abundance.
Brilliant.
The pillars of self-love, the foundational piece.
Brilliant. Oh my goodness, that's so, so beautiful. I think everyone needs to listen to this and do connect with Rhian, even just for a chat, because she's a lovely woman. We connected last week, I believe, and we went crazy. We went really, really berserk. We really resonate on the same frequency. But both of us, as you can tell from today's little interview, we have not always been like this. I have not always been in alignment. Rhian has not always been in flow. And when you know what you were missing before, you really appreciate where you are today. What can you tell us about this? The consciousness, the awareness that you have now that you didn't have today, and why people should join you on this 21-day challenge. Hi, Ellen. Thanks so much for watching.
So when I look back at my past self, I see a woman who is not so different from many women that I've met through my work over the years. A woman who maybe didn't have the best start in life, wasn't born with a silver spoon in her mouth, had some very difficult experiences in childhood and as a teenager, a woman through her insecurities, who jumped into relationships that were not good for her, that did not reflect a high sense of self-worth, and went through life making decisions that weren't for her highest good and didn't enable her to reach her full potential. And now what I see when I look in the mirror is a woman who is imperfect, but who is an expression of divine energy in the way that she is meant to be. She has energy. She has gifts to offer the world. She has a glow that is more than just the highlighter on the cheeks. It's something else. And it's that feeling of gratitude and love and desire to be fully embodied and engaged in having an earthly life of joy and fun and experiences. And that's what I want for all the women that I work with, which is why I do the work I do. So join me.
It's another mic drop moment. I need to get the mic. I have one, but it's not here in this room. Rhian, oh my goodness, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and gifts with us. I truly believe that every single person has a gift, and I can tell that you have discovered yours. So thank you so much for sharing this. I really, truly encourage you to join what is going on now with her in her group, and also the 21-day program, which is starting later. But just connect with Rhian, because as you can see, she went through a tough experience, but instead of curling in the corner and staying there, she has created all of this. And there's a little bit that I want to close with, because I wanted to put it in. I remember having a conversation with a particular word, which is orgasmic manifestation. Can you just give us a tiny 1-minute taster? Because you know how I am, I like pushing boundaries. And I would like everyone to get the knowledge of this power that every woman has.
Well, the orgasms that you will have when you work with me are not 1-minute tasters. But what I will say is that we women have an innate power. It is a power we are born with in our orgasmic energy. And one of the things that I teach is how we can tap into that power to create this amazing flow of abundance in our lives. And we do that through breath work, through energy work, through feeling more, through expanding into pleasure. And obviously, being a sex and relationship therapist, I have been able to pick up the traditional side of how sex therapy is done. And I've been able to blend that with the magic of the mind, body, spirit approach. And so that's where orgasmic manifestation comes from. And I'm telling you, it works and it feels incredible. And if you've ever had a full body orgasm, then you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, you need to work with me, because it's not just 1 minute.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I really wanted to drop it there for people to get very curious, because I find it's amazing that we have this power which we don't speak upon, or because it's still a taboo and all this stuff. So thank you for dropping that pin of curiosity in there. Rhian, thank you so much for your participation and contribution to the Greatness Club and the Greatness TV. We really appreciate you. And I wish you a fantastic afternoon and best of luck for all your programs and challenges that you are holding. And thank you once again for sharing your gift with us. That was Rhian. I want an applause from home. Rhian, our holistic love and intimacy specialist. Woo! Thank you so much, Rhian. Thank you very much for your contribution. Speak very soon. Wow.
Bye.
That was mind-blowing. Thank you very much. So up next we have Bridget. We're going to speak about body positivity, and we are going to remember that we have to really love ourselves at a deep level. Wasn't that absolutely amazingly stunning and deep? And she really took us to a different place today. So yeah, self-love and so much power, especially the feminine power. And yeah, we don't always have it easy. Sometimes there are experiences in life that are really hard, and Rhian chose to share with us something very, very personal. So if you also relate on that level to Rhian, do get in touch with her, because when someone goes through it, you can really relate and you can help and support each other. And sometimes that is what we need. We need support. And what better place to get support in than the Reach for Greatness Club? So up in the comments, you will find a link to be able to join us in the club. If you're interested to share your knowledge as a speaker, as an expert in your field, we would love, love, love to have you. It's a very low offer currently running, so do click in there if you are interested. And if you want to know a bit more of what goes on, we also have the speed networking events that are running. There's also the link above, so do join us for that. Next in line, Bridget. So Bridget is someone who I have worked with as well before, and I'm going to add her right now. And Bridget is an amazing, beautiful, wholesome woman who has realized her gifts and her talents and who has embraced herself completely full circle. So let's wait for Bridget to come here, and in the meantime, do give us love and support and let us know what you thought about Rhian's speech. And if you have any questions with regards to body positivity or hypnotherapy or Reiki or the last one, listening to your soul, do drop the questions and comments below. Hello, beautiful. Look at you. Stunning being. Oh my goodness. Wow. Hello, Bridget. How are you today? Oh,
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. You look stunningly goddess-like. Wow. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. And thanks to Sabine
Oh
for
my.
setting up this amazing group for us to all interact and help each other out as well. So it's kind of relates a lot to the work that I do and working with women and that around the world, and like helping us all come together and having a platform that we can all share our talents together. It's a great thing.
Bridget, you call yourself the body positivity coach, and I personally know where you're coming from, but I would like you to share a bit of your journey and story to the viewers today, because I really truly believe that people can associate with a story rather than just telling them what we do. So take it away and share with us your journey.
Thank you. So I am the body positivity coach. So it's come around the last couple of years. I didn't think of this idea overnight or anything, but it's come from kind of the background, my own personal journey about things and how it developed. And I've always been referred to, like friends would tell me I'm very strong character, and people knock you down, you do different things, and you kind of push through and you keep going. I've lived all around the world, so I've become very fiercely independent and went through a number of different things. I had some health issues and different things as well. I lived in New Zealand for a period of time, and I just moved to London recently. But at the time in New Zealand, I was going through a bit of a bad phase. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do career-wise and different things. And I kind of went into a cycle of, I suppose, sort of like binge eating thing, where I was eating crap because I felt like crap, and I was propelling the kind of cycle. And at the time, all I wanted to be was happy and follow my bliss. And that was me trying to figure out what I was doing. And I took a bit of a break career-wise, and then eventually ended up coming to London. And I basically got happy and kind of accepted who I was. And I lost all my weight just by being happy, because I was making better choices for myself and like naturally progressing to eating better and being outdoors, doing all the things that bring me joy and make me feel good about myself. So I wasn't relying on food for that extra comfort, because at the time I felt like I had nowhere to turn to and didn't really ask for help, because I was always a strong person and kind of felt like help was a sign of asking for help was like a sign of weakness before, because it was kind of drummed into me to be self-sufficient. But now, since I've been on my own kind of journey, I realize that it's not really. It's more like a strength of character that you feel you can reach out and ask for help to certain people. And by sharing our stories, we help each other overcome what we're going through. I started doing body positivity in September last year. So I started by doing a 21-day challenge. And I was going live on camera every day, and I was talking about different topics. And through that, it kind of helped me deal with my own kind of issues, because before that, I wouldn't like looking at myself on camera. I did the classic thing when with friends and nights out, and I grab the cameras and delete all the pictures because I didn't like the way I look. And now I feel like I don't wince back if I see myself. Like I can watch myself talking now on live here, and I don't have a problem with it. Before I probably would have been like, oh, my hair doesn't look great, this doesn't look good. all these things, we self-critique ourselves. So I've done a lot of like mindset work and done like mirror work and things, and I have on my wall, I am enough up there as well. So I have, that's the message I portray as well to women as well, that you are enough the way you are. It doesn't matter what size you are, what shape, your color, skin, anything. It doesn't matter what you look like. We're here and we all have a purpose and a mission, and I want to help women to be happy and to love the body they have. And I also want to help them developing with their businesses as well, because if we don't feel confident about ourselves on the inside, we'll project that to the outside world. And we're trying to be in a business where it focuses a lot on social media, and being out there and putting yourself out there, and putting yourself out there is a risk as well. But you know, we don't get anywhere without trying, and the more people you connect with, the more your kind of energy is going out to the universe and you're getting it back from people as well. So it's kind of important to build ourselves up and take time for self-care, because before I wasn't really doing things that were good for me. I was kind of classic people pleaser. I was doing everything for everybody else and forgetting about myself, and then being lost in the process. And now I have like a mini kind of routine that I try to stick to most days. Like if I don't stick to it, I don't beat myself up about it. I just start the next day and then try and do, oh, thanks, Faith. But I just try and get on like a new day. Like, no, some days I get up, I don't always feel amazing. I don't always feel super positive.
And
But I'll
that's
get up and
okay.
I'll eventually go and get back into my routine again. And, you know, I'll go outside, I'll go for a coffee. I have a bike, so I cycle as much as I can and get out into the fresh air. Because before, I've done the classic being in the gym a couple hours a day, but I hated it. I was constantly bargaining in my head. If I do 20 minutes, I can go for a sauna. If I do this, I can go for a coffee. If. And it wasn't things that I liked to do or enjoy. It was more like thinking, because so and so says I should do this, I should do that. But
Yes,
now
I,
it's like
I
I've kind of
like that
figured
you
out what works for me.
mentioned, I love that you mentioned, Bridget, that it was a journey to find your bliss and find your joy. And now you discover that it's within us, literally. That is not an easy journey. To stand in front of a mirror, as I like calling it, and love who you see is something that comes by time, because as you mentioned as well, we are the most critical persons to ourselves. We are our worst enemies, and we look in the mirror, and as soon as we look in our own eyes, we start criticizing. Oh my goodness, oh here, and we literally shatter ourselves. How did you manage to turn around and start loving who you see in the mirror and who you see on camera and who you see when you're being interviewed, the beautiful self who we see, but perhaps you weren't seeing her before? Because I'm sure that there are some viewers who will relate to this.
Yeah, I've had that thing where I'd pick apart, like, oh, it's like, oh, you're getting older, or you've got lines around your eyes, or your makeup doesn't look perfect, or you've got too much on, or not enough, or it's like the little things that you start picking apart that nobody else sees. Things like, no, people will compliment you, but that's the thing, as women, we are the worst at accepting compliments. Like my partner will tell me I'm beautiful, and I go, oh yeah, you're full of crap, like, you know. But it's kind of like believing that if these people keep telling you things, it must be true. Like, oh, you've got beautiful eyes, I can say yes, thank you, but don't like push them back, because you're dismissing it back on people, and then like they won't. If someone keeps telling you something, we don't take the advice, and what's the point? But it's more, I've done the whole like flip negative to positives, and as soon as you find the negative thoughts coming in, you just push them out. Because I could find myself saying I can't do something like yesterday, and today is like I can and I will. So I just flip it back on itself, and you stop the thought coming in and just go, okay, acknowledge it, and then you just let it go like a balloon. It's like, it's just a thought. It doesn't mean that it has any value. It's technically called like self-limiting beliefs. They're like beliefs that we're brought up to believe when we're younger or even older. It doesn't really matter, but we're taught that these things are like, you're a woman, you have to be a mother, a partner, a daughter, or whatever, but you're never allowed to just be. So that's what I believe. We don't give ourselves time and space to kind of grow into our own person and follow what our own dreams are and become the person that we should be, or not should, but the person that we want to be, because we have all these pressures from society. Like, I've been a makeup artist and a stylist, I've been on film sets, I've been surrounded by the most beautiful people in the world. They still have problems, and they still don't have it together. They're still like trying to make a living like everybody else, and they're trying to go out into the world and make their mark. But it's just like, it's just things that people say to you, but you kind of let them go away. But as a woman, we kind of get critiqued a lot more. We have constant social media stuff telling us if we're not 6 foot tall and blonde and legs up to here, we're nothing. If you're a different shape, they're like, oh, you're a plus size. Yeah, you're size 12, and you're calling people plus size. You're size 14, you're size 16. The natural average is size 14 to size 16. But it's the thing that it's not catered for in the wider kind of society, thinking we should be a size underneath that size. But if you're larger and you're trying to like dress in bright colors or something fitted, all you find is something that looks like a sack, and you're like struggling to find your identity and where you belong. So when someone like me or another person or other women, strong women, come around and are like, I'm not going to settle for this, people get surprised, like, oh, you should just deal with the body you have and just get over it, you know, like. But it's like we're another percentage of society as well, and we deserve to be heard as well. So
I love that. I absolutely love that is a mic drop moment for you, Bridget. Well done. I know
yeah.
that recently we're speaking about self-acceptance, and I think one of the things that is very, very hard for ourselves, because we are businesswomen, we really have to accept ourselves, because if we're going to do any kind of marketing online, there are going to be photos running around of you on your website. If you're going to do videos or lives, it is you. You are the face of your business. So you really have to embrace who you are and accept yourself who you are. Now, recently, I was actually also watching someone who, let's say, in the very judgmental terms, we would call her a toothpick. And she was sharing that she was bullied because she was so small and petite and tiny and bony. And I would like to bring this up as well, because sometimes it's both ends. Sometimes people
Yeah.
go even through some disorders when they are in any kind of, you know, unhealthy situation with their foods. So can you perhaps share this with us and your experience with working with these women, how you can
Yeah, I
really
have
empower them to
same,
love
like,
themselves more?
yeah, it's just like body positivity isn't just saying like larger women, overweight women, this is body positive. It affects all women. Like I've worked with models. I have a friend who's gotten quite famous now. Now she lives in America, but it doesn't mean just because you have the perfect body in society's terms that you're still happy with who you are. It still takes a lot of acceptance, and like you said about the photographs, and you are your brand, you're the face of your brand. Like I have my own headshots, and like, yeah, I like my pictures, they look good. But before I probably would be like, oh, this jacket, I shouldn't have worn this, I shouldn't have worn that, my makeup doesn't look good enough, my hair is not perfect. You start critiquing, because the inner dialogue is the worst conversation we have in our head. We tell ourselves all this crap, like, and it's the self imposter syndrome as well. It's like, who am I to go out and tell people how to live? Who am I to go and give a speaking event in Shoreditch in London to a room full of 40 women that I never met before? And I was standing up there and I'm telling them about my journey to self-acceptance, and my video is up and 700 plus people have watched it, and I don't know who any of these people are. But that's the joy of social media. You kind of take a risk and we do something different. But dealing with women and body positivity, it's kind of a sensitive subject, but people from all walks of life kind of open up to me and tell me their stories. And on the outside, we think they're very successful, they have a dream job, they have all the boxes are ticked off, but there's still something missing. The missing link is the puzzle piece kind of thing that I call it. It's still the link between, like, am I enough? Like, I have the job, I have this, this, and this, but I don't feel 100% comfortable in who I am as a person, as a woman trying to make a mark in the world. It's basically, we're trying to do all the things, but we don't step back. We never appreciate where we came from. Like, I've lived all around the world and now I live in London. So if you asked me 10, 20 years ago where I was going to live, I'd never have picked London. I would have picked, I don't know, somewhere Middle East or Bali or somewhere quite different to where I am now. But it's funny the way things line up, and when you stop resisting, stuff comes to you. Because within 3 months living in London, I met my husband, and now we're married a year, and I've been in London too. So you never know the way things will come, and as a result of meeting him and everything else that's kind of come, I've kind of accepted myself and who I am, and I kind of know what mission I'm on. It's like it took me 30 odd years to figure out what I want to do when I grow up, but it's like,
Exactly.
you know,
It's funny
you get
that
there in the end.
I have a similar story with regards to meeting my partner, because as soon as finally I stopped looking at in everywhere and I looked at myself and took care of myself, then I attracted my ideal I was going to say client, partner, who is now my husband. Faith has a comment here for us. I have had this since I was little, always being teased for being too tiny. Thank you, Faith, for sharing this. I just mentioned it. It took me to love me, not to let other people's thoughts affect me. You are awesome for helping others in this way. Thank you, Faith, for sharing that. We really, really appreciate you so very much, and we understand that this has been tough. Bridget, do you have any reply to that?
Yeah, I think for like women, it's the worst thing in the world being bullied about your weight, no matter what size you are. It's like, I think in some degree or description, most of us have been bullied for something. It's just human nature. If you see something, and most of it comes down to being jealous, and I think, Faith, that's probably what it came down to. They're probably jealous of your strength of character and jealous of other things, and they choose the easiest thing, which is weight, and they'll pick on that, and it doesn't.
We can see that.
Yeah, they can see that visible thing. It's tangible.
Yeah.
They can just pick on it, and kids are like the worst. Like, they'll just pick up on silly things and say you don't dress properly. We're all trying to fit in, but it's kind of, when we're in school, we're all being to fit the mold, and you have to wear this uniform and be the good girl and sit in your box and do the thing. But if you're any way different, you show that you're not part of the team, that you don't want to do the 2.4 kids and college and degree and blah blah and go through the motions. If you're any way different and you want to make a stand for yourself and go a different path, people don't like that. They don't like the fact that we stand up and go, I'm not taking this, I'm going to make my own way. And if you say that, people are like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you want to go and get a job and do what everybody else does?
I would like to stop a bit on that, Bridget, because I feel I've been through this. We shared this to each other. And as online entrepreneurs, perhaps someone who would like to become an online entrepreneur, they're tossing with this idea of, oh my goodness, I don't want to leave my job. How am I going to do this? And I know we're deviating slightly from body positivity, but actually not really, because you really have to be confident. So thank you, Faith. I really appreciate you. And you are a very talented, beautiful soul inside and out. Just saying. So when you go through something like this, you really, really have to step and look into yourself and say, when I stop doing what I absolutely hate, which is whatever you were doing as a job, what am I going to gain from leaving? But the first thing that's going to come to mind is absolute fear and terror that you're going to be homeless, you're going to be moneyless, you're going to be, I don't know what, less, friendless maybe. I don't know if you want to go there, Bridget, but I know about your story.
Yeah,
perhaps you want to share a tiny part of it, because it's so relatable.
I think it's once you step into your own power and who you are as a person, that everything kind of reveals itself. It does take time. It's not like you're going to make money overnight. It could take you 6 months to a year to kind of finally start getting some traction. But you're constantly putting yourself out there. You're taking risks. It's not easy being an entrepreneur by any means, but there is an online community out there that you can reach to for help, like Reach for Greatness, and other communities are kind of building up with strong women, and we're all kind of similar way of thinking, a similar wavelength, that we're doing something different. We're making our own waves. But the thing is, once you start acting different and thinking different, you lose the friends, you lose people drift away, but it's because you're growing more as a person and you're evolving into the person you're supposed to be, and you're taking ownership of a direction, because you're not just going into some job that you hate or commuting for an hour a day to a job that you resent. So it's kind of, it works in both ways. If you're going into something you don't like, if you hate it, you're already stressed before you even leave the house. You're not going to have a productive day. But if you're starting your day from a place of love and joy, and that you actually like showing up to work, you go online and you meet your members of your community, and you go out and you're helping other women to be their best version of themselves, and it gives back to you eventually. Like, it's going to take time, but you'll make it eventually. It's just a question of when and how, because I've evolved into who I am several different ways. I think of several different ideas, and you're like, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. But something will click eventually, and when it clicks, then you'll think, oh, what was I so stressed about? It only took me a year or 18 months.
And sometimes I feel we also need to reach out, because sometimes we try, as you mentioned in the beginning, to solve it within ourselves, when the only thing you need to say is, Angèle, can I have a chat? Sabine, can I please speak to you? Can I just, and that is it. And then from there, especially in the community where we are, you just have an overflux and a beautiful, beautiful community who supports you and holds your hand and tells you, I've been through it as well. So, Bridget,
Yeah.
I know your story from
Mm-hmm.
complete unclarity to a retreat, a goddess retreat.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to give you space here to share this with us because I actually got shivers. Share this with us. You are so, so
Yeah,
amazing.
I've
I'm
had
so
this.
happy for you.
Oh, thank you. I've had this idea for probably at least a year or more. It's always whenever they ask me what my big vision is, my vision is I want to host retreats. I want to host them like around the world. But I'm starting small and doing one in the UK. So I'm going to have it in Glastonbury. For anybody who knows about the UK, Glastonbury is kind of the home to ancient goddess wisdom and power. It's the kind of ancient seat of Avalon. It also has like Saint Bridget and Celtic Saint Bridget, but Celtic goddess Bridget as well. And she's kind of the earthly mother type figure in Celtic nature. And my name's Bridget as well. So in Irish, it is spelled the same way as this goddess is. So it's kind of a lot of revered ancient culture and ancient practices and things as well. And for me, I wanted it to be a total body transformation. So it's the mind, body, spirit connection, because the way that I do it, a lot of work that I do is all about the inner work that we do, like inner mind. And when you get all the inner work done, then it kind of shows on the outside. Like you have like your strong skin and nails, your skin is glowing, you feel much better about yourself because you're naturally taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to be like a 3-day weekend of just with other women. It's going to be intimate, so it's only going to be like 7 women, but then 3 speakers, possibly one more, well, 3 including me, but possibly another friend or 2 might pop along. If they're available, they can come along and do speaking and little workshops with the ladies as well. It's focused around alternative kind of therapies as well, so just bringing in like powers of doing like Reiki and tarot and relationship counseling and one-to-one work. Rhian, who's just on, is going to be there, and our other friend Christine, who's also part of the membership for the Greatness Club, she'll be taking part too, and she's like the mindset person that as well. I'll be there doing body positivity and confidence workshops. I'm also having a lot of art kind of stuff in there as well. I was previous life, I was a graphic designer. I've always loved colours, as you can see. I've got like bright green and pink and different things. I put flowers in my hair for the goddess type stuff, so possibly doing something to do with flowers are kind of in there as well. So I have a loose plan written down. I just launched it like literally last week, but it's going to be the first weekend in October, and it's going to be in the middle of Glastonbury, so it's very like laid back, and it's got lots of nice little cafes, and there's lots of like outdoor parts as well. Oh, thank you, Sveen. But it's got lots of like nature walks and the tour, which is quite famous in Glastonbury as well. So hopefully, weather permitting, we'll be able to do a lot of our events outside, like doing meditation workshops and really connecting to who we are as women and getting strong, positive vibes going again, and being able to take time out from our busy lifestyles to connect with each other as well and form the relationships together.
That's it. And Gloria says it sounds great. And thank you, Sabine. Yes, I think she looks absolutely gorgeous. And not only are you glowing physically, but I can feel that you're so happy inside. It's now overflowing. It's honestly, your skin tone is just so, so healthy and glowing and positive. And I can really, really feel your energy. Thank you for sharing this with us. I feel that perhaps you can leave us with a couple of tips for someone who's watching this and unfortunately still does not love, because I'm going to use the word love, who she sees in the mirror. Do you have like a one thing that person can do?
Yeah. I think even today I was thinking that as well, because when I started doing my whole trying to get over myself and preconceptions that you grow up with, the main thing I started doing was just practicing mirror work, which is Louise Hay, which I'm not sure people have heard of. Some people might have, but Louise Hay founded Haigh House, and she's done a lot of work for women in the whole wider consciousness, and we have lots of things to owe to her. She only started when she was 60 years old, and she's done all these amazing things. But she has a book called Mirror Work. So basically, you just look in front of a mirror and you can connect with your own eyes and just saying "I love you" out loud. And you can say it as many times as you like. In the beginning, you're gonna feel really stupid, but like after a few days, you're like getting used to seeing yourself. Because I've had the time when you're out in the shops and you're walking past the street and you see a glimpse of yourself and you don't want to look at yourself. Now I can look at myself and be like, yeah, I do look good. I have nice skin. My clothes look okay. I don't look as huge as I think I do, but it starts with the simple steps. And the other tip I have as well is to write I am enough. And just get lipstick and write I am enough on every mirror that you have in your house.
Okay.
I have in my hallway, I have I am enough and a big love heart drawn around it, and I have small little affirmations, because just I am and followed by what you want to be, and it just that I am kind of superimposes into your subconscious how you feel about yourself. If you say it to yourself enough, you'll start to believe it. And the other tip is when you say I can, so it's like I can and I will. And so you can say I can do this and I will do, and you can make the actions what you're going to do every day as well. And breaking it down into goals helps as well, because if all you can say is just 10 minutes a day working on your positive self, it'll start to be a reality, and you won't have to remind yourself every day that you are enough, that you are beautiful, or that you can cope with life, that, you know, it's not perfect at the moment, but it's getting there. And also, if anybody wants to connect with me, they can connect with me. I'm also available for one-to-ones at the moment as well, while I'm planning the retreat. But everything's on track for it to be happening in October. And if anybody wants to come, I'd be more than happy to have you, or any speakers within the Greatness Club want to comment or come for a half day or an hour or two to present something, let me know, and I'm sure we can figure something out together.
Thank you so much, Bridget. Oh my goodness, that's so amazing. I did drop how they can connect with you on the Facebook page. If you'd like to drop your Instagram as well, you can drop that later if that's okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. These little tips for me to be able to use lipstick, but for something else, is amazing, because I, for one, only use it for interviews, because otherwise I'm a fan of being very natural. But I love that you said you walk in front of shops and you see your image or your reflection, and you actually, you know, immediately start criticizing. You do eventually end up looking in the mirror and liking, but you have to do this on a constant level. And Bridget has come such a long way herself, so she is the perfect person to connect with regards to body positivity and loving yourself. And I'm guessing that many of you were very intrigued about the Goddess Retreat, so do connect as well with Bridget, and she will tell you what she can do for you and how she can put you forward also, perhaps, or you come as a guest in October. Bridget, thank you so much for your input today, for sharing your beauty, your knowledge, and your gifts with us. We truly appreciate you, and thank you so much for being able to share where you came from so that our viewers can relate to this.
Okay, thank you for having me, and look forward to seeing how everybody else goes today. So look forward to seeing you, and take care, and chat to you all later in the Greatness Club, hopefully.
Bye bye, and thanks so much for your input. Amazing. So with healing and self-love, we are going to jump into a bit of a different dimension together with Lana. So Lana is a Reiki master, energy healer, and freedom enhancer. So she's going to fill us in with her gifts and expertise, and she will also bring out what you can be doing so that you can really get in touch with your intuition and how to get to know yourself more. So I actually had an experience working with Lana, because when I had pulled my back or hurt my back, as I was just sharing before, Lana was actually the person who I ran to. Well, this was online, because she also does it on distance, and she really helped me. And sometimes it's not only about your back or the pain that you're feeling, but there's another dimension to this. So let me just check if Lana is watching, and she is absolute beauty. She of course is. By the way, just to put your mind at rest, Gloria, I can see you too. Okay, so thank you so much, and to put your mind at rest. Beautiful. So let's put Lana on so that she can share her area of expertise and knowledge. You're welcome. And she can share her beautiful self with us as well. Oh my goodness, I'm very excited to be interviewing Lana today. Very excited. Hopefully she can join this live easily. And if you do have any questions, either to Bridget about body positivity, here she is. Hello, gorgeous. Oh my goodness.
Hello.
Welcome, gorgeous. How are you today?
Oh, I'm very good, thank you. Yes, how are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm really good. Thank you for asking. I'm actually having a ball of a time. And jumping from one person to the other, I thought I'm going to get itchy on the chair, but I'm okay. I'm just Sometimes I'm moving a bit and stretching my legs under the table and perhaps, just jumping around. So Lana, as I was just sharing with this beautiful audience of ours, and thank you again for watching and for sharing this with beautiful women who need to hear this. Your title says Reiki Master, Energy Healer, and Freedom Enhancer. Wow. I always like knowing where you come from. So how did you realize your gifts? When was that moment that you're like, yes, I can do this?
Well, I've been doing this for 10 years now as a practitioner, and more recently in the last year as a master. But it does go with what a lot of people do say, that you don't find Reiki such, Reiki finds you. And that is true. You go through certain things in your life, and certain circumstances, your own energy, the universe, the spirit actually gives this to you. I mean, it goes way back than that for me anyway, in the sense that I always knew that there's something slightly different going on there. I wasn't quite sure how to deal with it, what it was. And I've always been very sensitive child when I was younger, obviously not now, but still, obviously those sensitivities have gotten heightened as you get older, depending on what you go through and what you work with, the energies you work with. So yeah, it's 10 years or so ago now that I started doing this, and I wasn't actually looking for anything in particular. It's just an advert jumped out at me in a local flyer, and I didn't know anything about it whatsoever, but I got so drawn to it, and I was intrigued. So I went to that, I did all the training, and the instant I walked in there to where my Reiki master was, into her grounds, and felt her energy, I immediately knew that this was for me, without even talking to her. It was just amazing. And when I got attuned, the heightened feeling of feeling so much at one with everything, the peace, everything, the trees just seemed like they're just like cuddling me, sort of thing. It's an amazing feeling. I mean, I've got a great connection. My kids get so annoyed because I'm always taking photos of trees all over the place anyway, because it's just the amazing beauty of them. But yeah, anyway, going from there, I did the Reiki 1, which is a self-healing, the first instance of it. And I progressed from there, and waited till I knew that I was ready within myself to then progress to do as a practitioner level. That, yes, you can do that. A lot of the time I had been doing that for years on people in person. It's a hands-on healing. Well, saying hands-on, you don't generally touch the body, only in certain places you can do, and normally it's actually using the energy around, surrounding and above within the aura and the energy fields of the person, the client you're working with. But it's not just in person that this can be done, as you know. It's most of the time now, because I work with people globally and have been there for a while now, mostly I do this with distance Reiki, because the energy within that actually seems to be so much stronger anyway, because of the way that the energy travels, and how it makes you feel whilst you're receiving it, as well as myself while I'm giving it and when I channel it, and you're a lot more relaxed within. And it seems to have an extra impact doing it that way through the distance Reiki. But going through my journey with the Reiki, it was actually after I did the first Reiki 1 that I came across a local shop in town it's been there all the time. It's just a tiny shop, and I always walk past it, but I instantly walked in there, and it was an angel place with crystals, incense, and various other different spiritual things, and I instantly felt home when I walked in there, and the beautiful, lovely lady in there got talking, and then we had a connection almost straight away, and I became part of some of her spiritual groups in there, and I did some psychic development clairvoyancy groups, which brought out a lot more within me as well. And I then was doing meditation groups, and I did meditation groups of my own I ran over the years. Going through this, as well as the Reiki that was working stronger as time went by, I mean, I hear and feel spirit myself to anyway, and which was brought out more doing these psychic development groups and the clairvoyancy groups, which is a little bit scary when I first experienced it. But it's such a great love and powerful energy. I get so excited now when I know that they're trying to talk to me, and that the feelings I get and everything, in which I work with the guides, the spirits, when I'm doing my Reiki.
Lana, allow me, since you mentioned the word, it was scary in the beginning. Perhaps someone who's watching us has some gifts which are similar to yours, but they have no idea where to go and what to do with them. Why was it scary for you, and how can you help someone watching who perhaps says, I do have something, but it just feels weird?
Yeah, well, when I first experienced spirit, it was through a really deep meditation, where we were all connected. It was in a group, we'd connected that way, and we were all grounded. But I'd gone so deep. I mean, sometimes when I'm meditating, I go so deep, I almost go into trance. That it's not all the time, but sometimes that does happen. And it's sort of like at that point, I'd gone a deeper connection, was closer to spirit, and I could actually see and feel the spirit getting closer. And there's one, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can deal with this, and I was getting quite excited. And then suddenly I said to the person who was like helping guiding, I said, oh my god, there's more of them, there's loads of them. It's quite overwhelming. I said, there's those, what do I do? And it's just so many, because I'd opened it all up, which was already there, but I'd obviously strengthened that. It allowed more to come in, more flow. All the spirit just wanted to talk to me at once, and it's like I didn't know what to do with it. But basically, it was just a case of acknowledging the spirit. They mean no harm. They're trying to be there, protecting of you, and just want to let you know that they're there. They're guiding you, and they're peaceful. Excuse me, and they're just there to help, and to show that they care and that they're with their love, and that sometimes it's that they need your help. So I mean, if that is the case, then what I do, when I talk to my guides and with the spirits, I try and tune in to see how I can help them anyway. But when in that first beginning stages, it's just a case of acknowledge, if you get to experience that, just to acknowledge them, to say thank you, acknowledge your presence. I can't deal with your energy right now. I send you love, and please leave me for now, and I'll be prepared for when you come back. It just sort of like, you can feel that essence sort of like then sort of slowly leaving, and you can then deal with the spirits with you, and the love that's surrounding you, and just say, just basically just acknowledge them and send them love, and ask them to leave, and it works. But I think it's just so overwhelming.
You can also connect with Lana, and she can help you to do this, because she is so amazing at what she does. Lana, for online business entrepreneurs who are watching us, because you have helped me through a very, very tough moment in my life, because I was actually in pain. But besides being my person, because I know how you can help me, how can you help these people who are watching us? How can you help online business entrepreneurs better their business through what you do with your gifts? How can they reach out? How can you help them?
Right, yes, I mean, because I mean, obviously we've diverted a little bit on the Reiki side of it, going through the spirit channel, but yeah, basically, because obviously where I've used the essence of the spirit whilst I'm working with Reiki, and I channel the Reiki through, so it comes through to me. So I get a little bit of feeling at the same time when I'm channeling it out. So it goes through me, through my hands, I guide it out, and I use my intuition. I go with the flow, I use my focus, I visualize, and there's a strength to the energy whilst I'm working with it, as to where the focus goes. I mean, the Reiki will always go to where it's needed for the highest good of all, anyway, for whoever I'm working with, for whatever situation. I mean, it could be anything on a physical level, emotional, mental, spiritual, whatever. But with regard to the clients that I've worked with over the years, they've come to me for various reasons, maybe to help them with weight management, or for physical issues, or for other emotional things. And whatever I've helped them with in the first instance, there's always been something else that's been connected with it, that's helped them along the way. And generally they've gone away not just with what they've come to me for, but also they've come out the other side on a much lighter level. And so most of the people I've been working with have been sort of like mid-level entrepreneurs. And it's helped them get a better flow of their business. Sometimes they a little bit stuck because of other aspects that are flowing through them energy-wise, that's connecting with them. It may be they've got a blockage with, maybe they've got to a certain level and there's something stopping them from moving forward to that next level, as you say. So it helps them like boost a bit more of their self-confidence, their self-esteem. It unblocks any restriction in their energy levels. If there's something they're going through, a certain situation that's connecting to the business or otherwise as well, that's reflecting on how they then carry themselves through. And it could be something that's also affecting relationships with their clients or with their family or friends, and which will then again still has that impact on their business. So all these things that need sort of like extra healing.
We're saying here that anything that you feel is stopping you from being the best version of yourself, like we were saying in the beginning as a topic, from loving yourself more. My experience, it was actually something that showed up physically. First I had back pain and then I had tonsillitis, and I did not take any medication. Lana healed me, and she did distance Reiki because I live in Ireland, she lives in the UK. But we realized, and she made me realize, that there was something underneath this. So if at the moment you're going through something and perhaps you have, I don't know where pain is manifesting, connect with Lana, because she really can help you dig deeper. So she will not only heal the pain that is manifesting, but I remember her telling me, is there some fear here? Are you not speaking truth with someone in particular? Is there something that you need to address? With regards to the voice, I remember it was manifesting itself because I was up leveling, but obviously the body was slowly to catch up with this. So it was stopping what I do most, which is speech. And for me, it was absolutely fascinating that not only did she help me and the pain went away and whatever I had in my throat went away, but I realized, and I dug deeper. So as a business entrepreneur, I realized that it's not just about the throat pain or the back pain. So how do you do this? How does the online entrepreneur realize that they need to come to you? Do they need to be in pain, or is it because they might find themselves with limiting beliefs or stumbling blocks?
No, I mean, absolutely not. You don't have to be in any physical pain or anything like that to need my help or want my help for any particular reason. There could be any situation that's holding you back, anything that's blocking you. That could be maybe you're feeling a bit burnt out or something, or there's an overwhelmment. You've got to a certain level in your business and it's causing such a strong, like yes, so like being overwhelmed of how you've gotten to that certain level, and maybe it's stopping you, that self-belief that you can go any further, that you feel that how can I be any better than I am? How come I come to this far? I don't believe that I'm good enough to get any further, to be at this level, to push past anything that's holding you back. Because sometimes like the emotional and physical levels are actually connected in some way, and it could be something actually from your past that's making you feel in a certain way as to what's stopping you now. It could be from something from way back, or even from a past life, which Reiki can actually connect with as well. So it can turn around things on all sorts of different levels for you. And if you've got, say, look, as a target you're trying to reach and you're not able to get past something that's holding back, you may not even know what it is, but the Reiki will go to whatever level it needs to go to work its magic to turn things around for you, to stop that blockage, and it will help you be more aligned with what you actually deserve to have, to where you deserve to be, and help you out to get you further in your business and your life, with the relationships that you're holding, so with clients, your customers, your family life, and however that's actually connecting to where you are now. So I mean, as I say, yes, I put myself as a Reiki master because I'm at the highest level with the Reiki. I've gone through the different levels. So the Reiki master is the highest level. My energy is so strong these days. It surprises me. I'm amazed at, you know, what certain things that people come out with. And the most major thing, even the slightest thing that people come out with after everything else that they've wanted to help with, was they feel so much lighter with themselves. The massive difference they feel, and it turns them around. That I've got one client that she's actually quite regular. She travels around different countries with her work. And so she has got a laptop lifestyle, but she comes to me because she gets certain blockages still all the time. She has like physical elements that she helps me to help with, but also it helps her give her a little, obviously a bit more of an energy boost, but also she gets blocks even still, sort of like at different levels, at different places where she goes to, a different thing, people that she's dealing with, something sort of like causes an upset within her energy levels that she needs sort of like unblocking. Because even if you do have something that unblocks it for a while, your energy changes on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, so anything can get in there and can cause that shift. So you have to know how to work with that and get more grounded and working with the energy levels within it. But there's this one client, as I say, that she comes to me all the time, and she has sort of like regular sessions, have a short break and comes back again, because she knows how, since I've been working with her, she's become extra creative with the work she's done. She has extra aha moments. she feels so much more lighter. So same with someone I work with, a weight release program with someone, and she lost 11 pounds in 4 weeks with working with me. And she helped her business as well. She's like a whole completely different person. She keeps coming back to me herself and saying, I can't believe what's happened to me since I've been working with you. And it came due to this, and look where I am now, sort of thing. And her business is flying too. So it's not just the smallest thing that Reiki can help with. If you've got even the slightest bit of not doubt, but of wonder as to whether I can help you, do connect and see what I can do. Because whatever level you're at within your business, there is still that further push that you can go to be wherever you want to be, and get at that much lighter level for you, and smash through whatever it is that's holding you back. So the freedom in hearts of it is freeing you from whatever's holding you back, in whatever instance, situation or level that is.
I love that, Lana. I love that you said, if you are kind of at a loss and you're not sure, just connect. This is exactly how I connected with Lana, and I'm so absolutely grateful. Because I remember I was so skeptical. I had no idea what I'm going to dive into. Hi, Sabine. Hi, Diana. And that was someone else. Hi, Shannon. Thank you so much for watching. So, and I had absolutely no idea, but I was so back against the wall. Actually, I wasn't, because I was in so much pain. I had no idea. And Lana offered, listen, can we just talk? I'm like, oh my goodness, what is she going to do to me? And obviously she did nothing. She just spoke to me and, you know, shared her beautiful energy. And I remember I couldn't even sit still on the bed. I was so all over the place at the time. My energy was not in flow. It was not in alignment at all. This we're talking, I think it was October. Then when the second time came around, the first person who I thought of was, hi, Lana, I need your help. So it's so amazing how the first, and I understand if you're watching this and you're skeptical, because she really, really can't even describe how amazing she is. So obviously people like myself have to show you, because for her, it's her gift. And I really do understand, Lana. So thank you for mentioning that, because it does come from people like myself who are skeptical, and then we turn around and then we're literally like this coming to you. And weight loss, so beautiful that you shared this, and other people, you know, who live the laptop lifestyle, as you called it. It's amazing that you can be there to help them unblock, you know, these energy centers perhaps in their body that are not allowing them to grow as an entrepreneur or to believe in themselves enough. That is so absolutely beautiful. And they can find you on the Facebook group, but you obviously also can help people with your packages and programs and whatever you have put together. Do share it with us so that we can avail from your beautiful gifts.
Thank you. Yes, I do have a Facebook group, which I think there'll be a link going on here. If it's not already on it, Be Healed and Feel Free. So you can ask to join that, and we can connect that way. I do various packages and programs. I don't recommend having less than 3 treatments of Reiki. It's always usually 3 or more, because even at the slightest lowest level, you need to get the energy shift moving, working for you. And there are various different aspects of it as to why you need it and what you need to do for you. So it will do. We work together to find out where you need to be at and what we need to do for you and to help you in different ways, because obviously it works with the chakras. So I don't know if you know anything much about the chakras, because they are the energy centers that work with the Reiki as well. Obviously there's no time to go through that now, but obviously it's connected in different ways for whatever reason you need it for. So I'll be working with you in different ways with various different support throughout. I mean, have I quickly got time to just go through what I actually do with the Reiki, the treatment? Thank you. Yeah, when I'm doing the distant Reiki, there are different ways I do it. The main way is a remote live link, so something like this. So we actually get to see each other while I'm doing it. We connect in that way. It's an hour. Full hour distant Reiki healing, but it also includes discussion beforehand and afterwards as well. So we could go through how I felt, what you felt, what shifts there are, if there's any questions afterwards, and then there's a follow-up as well. And then I do a zap of absent distant healing that night, so I'd give it a little bit of extra push. So that's just the one session. So when you have a set of 3 to 5 or something like that, obviously it keeps the energy flowing to where you need to be and what we need to do for you. But so yeah, I usually allow for at least 3 treatments for the package, but I'm actually working on something quite major. Well, not working on it, but I've got something that's it would actually be beneficial to all you amazing online entrepreneurs that need that extra little bit of a push and a bit of a help within yourselves to get your energy working the right way for you, for the positive way, for the lighter you that you need to be. And so yes, I have a 6-week package and 3-month program rather. So if anyone is interested, do connect with me, jump on a call. We'll go through to see if we're able to work together and what information we need from each other to see how we can go from there. And it will be fantastic to talk to you. So I work with people all over the world. I love it. There's been people recently in Budapest, US, or India, all over the place. I just love it. Sometimes I connect with people. Ireland, yes. I just love it. It just fascinates me so much. And obviously the difference that I make to people's lives. It's such a passion and so empowering, and that's another thing as well. It can do for you. It can give you that extra lift within yourself, and so feel so much more empowered within.
Something that I would like to add to this is that as the entrepreneur, you actually have to do nothing. So this is something that is positive as well, because sometimes you actually have no idea what to do. You don't need to know. That's another beautiful thing, that when you have that chat with Lana before the session, you will actually experience what she needs from her asking the right questions. So you don't need to figure it out or where it is coming from, but she will ask you the right questions. And honestly, I remember this back pain leaving in a day and a half, and I had been in pain for about 10 days, not even being able to stand or lie down pain. So it wasn't a joke. You mentioned the chakras, and perhaps we actually have a couple of minutes to discuss this, and maybe you can leave us also with a tip for someone who's watching this and has no idea how they can do something perhaps today to love themselves a bit more and perhaps to really, really be in touch with themselves. So can you just go over the chakras and a little tip?
Yeah, sure. One other thing I forgot to mention as well, a couple of things, that whilst I'm giving the Reiki, obviously, and I'm using the spirit within that help me, I also use the energy of crystals. So there's that extra healing element from the crystals with the Reiki that I channel through as well. And also, as you've experienced too, I don't often say this to the people that when I'm doing these sort of things, but obviously the extra element I offer is because I'm Indian head massage practitioner too, and where my energy is so strong with what I channel, I actually channel through a distant element of Indian head massage within the Reiki too, so you get that extra powerful pizzazz with that to move an extra shift with the physical element, as well as to how that will help in different ways too. So if you've ever had that and on hands Indian head massage, and imagine you can get that without actually having somebody there with you, it's phenomenal. So yeah,
tried and tested.
Yes, exactly, yes. And what is it you
I remember feeling this tingling sensation, and I was, kind of half eye open, like, how is she doing this? And then I chose to enjoy it and close my eyes, and relax when I was sitting down where I told you I couldn't sit still. And I remember just set up afterwards, and I was like in this Zen zone, which was sheer beauty. I was like, I needed this so much. And that was all that came out of my mouth, someone who doesn't stop talking. It was a really, really strong and amazing, and I really, really needed that. So is there a tip that you would like to leave us with, Lana? Something that perhaps someone watching can start doing on a regular basis, or perhaps, something that they can learn?
Yeah, I mean, also as a Reiki master, I can actually teach Reiki to people as well, and attune them myself if they want to go through the different levels for their own self-healing and different ways of actually working with Reiki themselves. But yeah, the chakras themselves, I mean, if you don't know, they have different colors, different elements within that do 100 different things for each one as well, for different levels, for the physical elements, the emotional, mental and spiritual as well. I mean, just as a guide, obviously I'm wearing yellow at the moment. I love the colour. It works with the solar plexus, the emotions. You've got sort of like you've got the sacral chakra, which is below the belly button area down there, and that helps with physical elements as well, but also with regard to self-confidence, self-esteem, and creativity and that side of things. You've got the throat chakra, as you know, that work with you, that could be linked to other things with regard to obviously finding your voice, not just a physical thing if you've got like a sore throat or anything like that, but obviously linked with other mental and emotional aspects as well. You've got the third eye, obviously, with regard to linking more of a spiritual essence. You've got the root chakra, obviously helping you be more grounded in different ways. The heart chakra obviously does so much, and that is a great one to start with, working with the heart chakra. But obviously, if you've got certain colours that you need to work with the different chakras, you can wear those as crystals or wear them as colours with the clothes or anything else like that to help with the particular chakra that you need to work with. So if you don't know which chakra it is you do need to work with, obviously that's something I can help you with as well. But if it's just even at the basic level, to be guided, obviously, I do meditation before each Reiki healing that I give. I also always prepare myself for at least half an hour beforehand. I do my own self Reiki, I do meditation, I completely cleanse the area I'm working at. I take away all negativity from the energy surrounding and within, and I fully prepare myself in all ways as best I can, and obviously make sure I'm fully connected beforehand. So that all goes before each treatment so that everybody gets the best that I can give them. But with regard to say, I meditate first, so the meditation is a good thing for everybody. If they can, even just for a few minutes each day, just try and balance themselves in that sense, close their eyes, and just like deep breaths in, and even just the count of just slow deep breath in, counting to 4, holding for a count of 2, and then breathing out slowly for a count of 5 or 6, something depending on how you actually are able to do that with yourself. But also visualization is a good thing as well. If you need to take away some negative thought, something I do suggest in my meditations is to grab hold of that negative thought, thank it for being there, say, I don't need you today, don't need it at the moment, and watch it actually float away in a cloud. and let it disappear, and bringing in more of what you actually need, and visualize something that actually gives you that positive vibe. So there's lots of different things you can do, but just a basic thing, just give you a little bit of a positive thought there to help you along. Just there's so much. But yeah, if you need more help, want to connect in any way to the Reiki or anything else that can help you in that sense, do connect via my group, inbox me, however you want to do. I don't have a calendar to link to for making appointments for calls, so if you connect with me separately, I like to actually do it on a more of a personal level.
Yeah.
Because that way actually we connect differently, and actually can work through how much time we need, and know what exactly I need to do to help you in that sense, and when we can
Lana
do
will
that.
definitely get back to you, because she's amazing, and honestly have a chat with her, because she's also delightful to chat with. And sometimes I have a bit of our crazy chats, because we vibrate on the same crazy energy, which I absolutely love about Lana. Beautiful soul. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you very, very much for sharing your gifts and what you do and who you are. And honestly, connect with Lana. She's so strong with her power and her energy that she will definitely, let's say, get you unstuck, to put it really, really in a nutshell, which, we really can't put all her energy in a nutshell, but to summarize. Thank you, Lana, for being here. Do connect. I dropped the link in the comments below. And if you want to also share the other link, you can do that. Thank you, Lana. It was a pleasure having you here today. Have a fantastic afternoon, and do connect with her if you need anything as a business entrepreneur. Thank you so much, Lana. Next we have...
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Next we have Gloria. So Gloria Prest is exactly here. Wow, it's like, hello, and we appeared. And Gloria is a hypnotherapist and counselor. And the psychology for everyday life is what she's going to share with us. So I actually chatted a bit with Gloria as well before this this interview, so that I got to know her a bit more. And there's something really beautiful that I would like that she shares with you from her end. So let me just invite her over. And I can't see you right now, Gloria, so I don't know what happened from before to now. So if you can try do whatever you did before again, it would be lovely. And I will be able to add you soon. So if you have any questions with regards to healing or Reiki or energy blocks or things that are stopping you from being the best businesswoman you can be, do drop them in the comments below, and we make sure that Lana comes back to answer these questions, because she really, really is a strong healer, and she really can help you get unstuck. I honestly was so blocked, and she managed to get me out. Okay. Gloria, I can't add you like last time, so if you can perhaps close the Facebook app. Oh, there we go. You are here, you are here, you are here. Don't close. I have you. Let's invite you. I have no idea what happens with these things. It's so funny and interesting. So for once it wasn't there, and now you are there, but it's okay as long as we have you here. Here she is, the beautiful person I was just introducing. Hello, gorgeous. Thank you so much for coming on. Apologies for the few minutes delay. I hope that's okay.
That's okay.
How are you today, my beautiful?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm trying to figure out what's the best position for this phone. Yeah. I'm okay. I'm fine.
Don't worry. You can place it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Can place it very, very easily. So we had a chat last time, Gloria, and it was such a powerful chat together. One of the first things that Gloria and I have in common is that actually Gloria is from the Mediterranean as well.
Yeah.
And it's something that I related, because it's something different that we have. We have this friendliness vibe. I'm not saying that if you're not Mediterranean, you're not friendly, right? I'm just happy to connect with someone who is, Mediterranean. So hypnotherapy. Gloria, how did you end up doing something like, not end up, actually start? How did you fall into doing something like this, and how can you help the business entrepreneurs who are watching us? Hi, Bridget.
Well, I came to hypnotherapy a little bit late in life, really, and I am sort of person, I quite like scientific things. I quite like to understand how things work, but I'm always very open. I'm not close to things, and the fact that I don't know if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. It's just I haven't figured it out, or somebody hasn't figured it out. So I did therapy. I was more interested in psychology, and my psychology sort of background came about because I had to learn about the essentials of how the brain works. And I've always been interested in why people behave one way, not another, why people make choices that are bad for them. So when I was a child, I remember that I was very skinny, talking about weight now, and everybody was saying, oh, you're so skinny, and my mum was very worried. At the same time, as I couldn't eat more, my mum couldn't eat less. So, and she was always making the wrong choices for her health, for her food, even though she really needed to lose weight for health reasons. She had really bad arthritis, and her bones were in a bad way, and she really needed to lose weight, but she couldn't do it. So they're always intrigued by that. But later on, you know, you get through life, you do all sort of other things. And eventually when I had my son, he was born very small, and also I really so much, you know, can relate to what Rhian was saying before, because I did have a late miscarriage, about 4.5 months pregnant, and so it was a horrendous experience. And it made me think all the time, how do these things happen? Why happened? And the effect that it had on me. So when my son arrived, it was a miracle, because it didn't look like he was going to make it. So he was born 3.5 weeks early, but at one point it looked like I was going to miscarry him as well. So it was fingers crossed, everything else crossed. And he eventually arrived. But I knew from the beginning that something wasn't quite right, even though for being born a little bit earlier, he was very small. And then his development didn't quite go as you would expect it. He wasn't teething, he wasn't crawling, there were lots of sort of things that were not quite right, but he was healthy in other ways. So the doctor kept fobbing me off. Eventually, he was 1 year of age when we discovered he was profoundly deaf. So most people say, wow, that must have been a shock. And the reality is, no, I was elated. I found out what was wrong, and it wasn't an illness. And we would figure it out. I was so naive, and I didn't know what was coming my way. So that's how, you know, the first thing that occurred to me when he was profoundly deaf, will he have language? And I immediately went back to experience that I had when I worked in Spain at an orphanage. And at that place, you see that the worst possible scenarios that any child might come through. And there was a group of 4 siblings that had come to the orphanage, who've been taken from their family, who had no language whatsoever, nothing. They couldn't speak a word. They were from age between 5 downwards, and they had never been spoken to. They had been locked in a room and basically almost thrown food at them. Oh. And they had not ever been socialized. They had never spoken. They had never, you know, and it was the first moment, say, right, development and what we learn to do, to talk, to walk, to everything, doesn't happen by miracle. There is a process, because we all go through the process naturally. We forget that there is a process, and there are some elements that need to be there. So there were other instances of children who had only been fed by bottle, so they didn't know how to swallow. It was really pretty horrendous. And of course, once they got there, they tried to, but on an emotional level, it was a disaster place. Well, we're talking about 1979 in Spain, so things have moved along. But the attachment to a person, the normal progression, the development of a child, it doesn't happen just like if there were mushrooms. There has to be a series of elements that have to be there, and love is one, and love is absolutely essential, but it's not the only thing. Love, opposite to the Beatles song, love is not enough. You need more things than just love. So my first panic was, right, how is this child going to learn to talk? How is he going to communicate? And my other sort of frightening thought was because I had worked at Heathrow Airport, and I sometimes was asked to go to customs offices when they had detained people in customs offices who was Spanish speakings, people from South America often. And then that was the other image of panic that came to me, like, oh my God, is it gonna be able to communicate, or is he always going to need a translator? Because knowing the work as an interpreter translator, that is so not ideal. And it's fine if you go away and you go abroad and then you're in a different country, but to be in your own country and not to be able to communicate in your own language, so that filled me with panic. But you know, going through, we learned sign language, and then we became into the absolute utter nightmare. There was the opposing philosophies about how to educate their children. So you had the oralist that you say you should talk to them, never sign, absolutely sign completely forbidden, because if you sign, then they don't use whatever residual hearing they have. And if you do, you know, if you go the sign language route, there are less opportunities. And so, which sort of made sense if the child hears, but if they don't, you know. So the other opposing was, oh my God, start communicating with them as soon as possible, start you know, signing early and whatever. And it was a real, absolutely no way of what to do, because they were completely opposite camps with completely opposite advice. And your child is a baby, so still doesn't speak like any other baby, so you don't know which way it's going to turn. So we decided to I basically decided, it was on my, that I really did want him to be able to speak, because of all those experiences, that I didn't want him to be a foreigner. But my idea was always to introduce sign language later on, so that he could communicate. My vision was then he could come home, throw away his hearing aids, and just relax and sign. But it seems like I was talking to, like, you know, like traveling to Mars tomorrow, you know, that's just not possible. So it was a really, but there were lots of different things again with his development. There were, you know, so anyway, it's a long story, but I found it very difficult to find the right advice. I found it very difficult to understand the consequence of not having language. But I decided to go the oral route, which was a big mistake, because by the age of 3, he was depressed. He really didn't have a way of communicating effectively. His hearing, who started as really deaf, had gone down, and he's lost a little hearing. He became like a severely autistic child, and panicked. We started introducing sign language. But in the meantime, I had met a couple of really not very good psychologists. They really were pretty awful, in the sense that they didn't understand it, because language is something that's so innate in everybody, that had no clue, no understanding of what the absence of language does. So that's one of the ways I decided to understand it. And I did a lot of research myself. I did a lot of research on language acquisition. I did actually go, well, we had been learning sign language from the moment he was diagnosed, but we had not introduced it to him. So me, my husband, and my in-laws were all learning sign language to be ready when it was the right time. So we ditched the oral, we just went sign language, which was not as easy, because to learn a language, you have to be immersed in it, and immersed within people who actually speak it and speak it well. So there was a lot of series of mechanisms there that
you really became an expert in your field, unfortunately not by choice. So you really dug so deeply to be able to help your son. But now you don't work with children, do you? You work with adults as well.
Yeah, what I've done, the reason why I don't work with children is just working as a educational psychologist, which is what I was intending to do, is really difficult and really limited, and is amazingly expensive. But you're actually so constrained by the limitations that the system applies to you. The one I worked with children in a school for children with emotional behavior difficulties, I was tied up. I couldn't do what I needed to do. I wasn't really allowed to. So I decided to follow on and work with psychology, because I did a psychology degree, with adults, because what I am able to transfer is all the mechanisms and all the different things that happen with childhood, then eventually sort of manifest in ourselves in adults. But I can link the process, I can link the mind right back. So what I do now is I educate people on the way their mind works, because I've looked into, I did sort of study obviously different things in the psychology degree, but I did neuroscience, and I really like to know how things actually, the mechanics of it, how it works, and how that understanding of your own working can help you to work better. And I also work with parents to inform them of some of the process that we take for granted and how they can make that better, so that we avoid this increase in anxiety that in young children. But with grown-ups, most of the people who come in, and I do work with entrepreneurs and I work with ordinary people, they have blockages and they have things that almost every time you can trace back to childhood.
Something
and
that
I find that
we...
hypnotherapy...
Sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
It's the setup, is the model that you've learned from
Yeah.
when you were little, is the style that you've acquired, that you've inherited to make relationships with other people, and is the main relationship is like the one that you make with yourself and your identity, and the identity that you actually come to accept as your true identity, which in most cases it isn't, is what adults, when you were a child, have been throwing back at you, but they're distorted, and they give you this distorted image of yourself and this distorted image of your own value. And that is basically what I do, and it's very much in line with Bridget and with all the others. It's just find the true self in a way that you can reflect who you truly are, not through the distorted lenses that you've been given, because everybody acquires that through life. And also, yeah, we all have distorted lenses through.
Yes, and in fact, there's also, I can use maybe the word stigma, you know, around mental health. But obviously in this space, we are speaking here about physical health. And perhaps you would like to share some knowledge and expertise in this area, because I don't feel we speak about it enough.
Well, what I've been, because I've been constantly learning and constantly, and once you learn a little bit, you are in a higher platform to learn more, and then, you know, more. So you would say,
can you still hear?
sorry, I can't believe that somebody just
It's okay, don't worry, it's technical challenges. We can still hear you.
Yeah. Good. Can you see me?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, good. Right. So basically what I've been learning more and more is about we have got this completely wrong idea, and I'm sure that all the other speakers before can sort of be witness to this, that your mind and your body are two separate things. That is rubbish. That's absolute utter rubbish. But we have been sort of really, it's been embedded in our brain that things that are on the mind are different the things from the body. They're not. The mind and the body are one, and your brain is, let's say, the you know, is the hard drive, let's say, that runs the rest of the machinery, but it's an organ like any other organ. So if you don't have stigma about having a kidney problem, or stigma about what, you know, sort of having a lung problem or a gut problem, why should you have a stigma about the main organ, the most complicated, which is the most likely that something will go awry, you know? So your brain, so it's that stigma. But the thing is, what you brain is, your gut, actually, this is what I've been looking more into lately. It's the link between your gut, your brain, and the rest of your body. And that's what I really is So mental health is not just about, because at the beginning of starting my journey was, you know, you're talking therapy, and if you talk to people and their reason, and they will see that that doesn't work on its own, because people are more than just the mind. They are a whole body, they're a whole person. A lot of the problems people store in their bodies, somatic problems, and that might relate to what you were having, is a somatic issue, is a problem expressed in your body. But also the important link between the gut and the brain, there is a much more direct link than we ever thought before, and how what inhabits in your gut actually affects what happens in your mind. And people say that's rubbish and, you know, things, but if the link between your gut and your mind wasn't so strong, well, the tablets wouldn't work, wouldn't it? You know, you wouldn't, the antidepressants or the whatever, they wouldn't get to your brain, so they wouldn't work. So the same way that the tablets get to your brain, what you eat gets to your brain. And that, once you get to your brain, it affects the way that your body functions and affects your health. And your health, so is that trying to, what I've been trying to, and I've been trying to promote more recently, is something to do with the hook is sort of talking about weight loss. But weight loss is because I've had lots of clients about anxiety, about depression, about lack of confidence, about things, but almost everybody has got an issue about a complex or a concern about their weight and about their weight loss. And it's because we can't escape these bombardment that we have from society, that you should look a particular way, that you should, particularly young people now, with Instagram and with everything, there's this pressure to look a particular way, to be a particular size. And if you don't, you have people the most confident in other areas, the most believable talent, but they have a real complex about their own selves, of their own value, and it only tied to the size they are. And I think that's just ludicrous. But it's very difficult to get, the same way that the body and the mind are connected, we are connected to the wider collective, which is the society, and we are immersed in it. And it's very difficult to escape some of the things that are not so nice about it. And this fixation with your value comes from the way you look, is something that is embedded in so many of us. And it's not that difficult to see how people get caught in it. But if you get your mind in the right place, your weight and your size should be the consequence of a healthy body.
Gloria, we actually have a question here for you, if that is okay, from Lynn. I don't know if you can see it yourself. And Lynn says, I have a brain problem. I have Parkinson's disease. It is degenerative and progressive. Have you any advice, please? Thanks,
okay,
Lynn.
what I've learned...
Hi, Saroj.
Thank you. Yeah. Hi. What I've learned recently, I've been reading more about energy healing and, you know, talking to, you know, the people who've been here before, whatever. It really is, we have ignored our gut and we have ignored our energy fields, and all of that is really important. There is quite a lot of evidence that for things that are related to autoimmune diseases, autoimmune problems, fasting is really, really important. A well-controlled, regulated fasting program. And in fact, there is a clinic in Germany and there is a clinic in Marbella, I believe, that do that fasting, but they're clinically sort of supervised, because apparently fasting can sort of almost reset some of the body things, but also gut, because the thing that people don't realize, which was a real revelation to me, is to do with your gut and how your gut influences on your mind and in all your health. Is that if you don't eat the right food, then you don't get the right nutrition, you know, the right nutrients to the different parts that you need. But the way that our gut controls what we eat is through the microbiome that we have. So you just have to imagine that you have like an army, and literally is, and again, this is one of the other misconceptions that we had, you know, microbes are bad, the microbes are infections, the microbes, okay, there are bad microbes and there are good microbes, and we live thanks to the good microbes. And if you have the good little guys in your gut, then they work for you, they work for your health, they help you to absorb the nutrients and to send them to the right place. If you have the wrong guys in there, the wrong bacteria, they're just there to get what they want to get and sort your health.
You have another question,
And
Gloria. I'm happy that we are
yeah,
creating this community vibe. Thank you
sure.
so much for participating. Thanks for watching. What do you think about water fasting, says Saroj? If there are extremes, surely it's too much for the body. What do you think? Thank you,
I
Saroj.
think, yeah, I think fasting really is, and I would recommend to anyone to actually go and research the different ways of fasting. I found that for me, the one that I do is peak fasting, which is not eating for, because I don't, I'm not very strict on my diet. I do have occasionally some bread, and I don't, you know, I do sort of vary a little bit from like a diet which is more burning healthy fat for fuel rather than carbohydrates. So I find the peak fasting is 18 hours between my last meal and my next one. And I find that very easy. And I found a surprising difference on the amount of energy that I have. It's almost like a switch gone on, and I have another level of energy. I feel better, I feel healthier. I have lost some weight, but not significantly, because I'm not that bothered about my weight. And I also, I notice I am better, my skin is better. That is just peak fasting, but there are different, some people do 5 days of eating normally and 2 days of fasting. I didn't find that particularly easy. There are different ways, and obviously you have to drink water, you have to have a minimum of nutrition, and of course if you're very thin and you're fasting, you don't have reserves. I have plenty of reserves, so if the body needs energy, can go get it, because there is plenty there. So I wouldn't recommend just go blind and just go fight. I would, there is some, I will put later on some books that I've read that might be interesting for some people, where I got these ideas. But the main thing you need to get is, you need to eat the right food so that the right bacteria is in your gut, which is the one that works for you. There is a lot of things in the market now. You have the Yakult, and you have the probiotics and things that are the right bacteria. You can swallow the right bacteria, and it should be there. The problem is, if you don't have the kind of food that bacteria likes, it just comes and goes. It doesn't stay in your body. Your body is already, your gut is already occupied by bacteria. There is no room. There is no space. The bad bacteria is taking space. If you keep feeding what they want, you keep producing the environment where they'll stay there and then go. If you stop giving them what they want, they'll leave, and they leave room for the good bacteria. So prebiotics, the right stuff for the right bacteria, you need to eat that. And that's where hypnotherapy comes in, because what you do is you influence your mind to actually crave those healthy foods, want those foods, so you prepare the environment for the good bacteria to be in the gut and to multiply there, and not to leave room for the bad bacteria, because the bad bacteria basically is the one that causes an awful lot of infections or whatever. Your gut is not just where you digest your food, it's also where your immune system gets the training. The gut also has so many neurons in it. There is a small amount of neurons. It's almost the size of the brain of a cat. So there is so much more to your gut that you don't realize. So looking after it is very, very, very important. And you have to think of, if you have a factory, do you want to have lots of conscientious little workers that work for you? You have to feed them, you have to pay them in the right amount, the right thing. Otherwise, you'll have useless squatters that come and live in, take everything else, don't produce anything, and they ruin your health. So the way the program I'm trying to make, what I'm proposing now for people, is to come and have a real assessment of their issues. Do they have a real issue? Do they have weight? What is their health? Whatever. What habits do they need to change to create that positive circle of health, rather than the negative that they have at the moment? And then when you break when you subconscious is aligned with your health needs, it's not a battle. You don't fall off the wagon because you don't self-sabotage. But if you logical mind say, right, I'm going to eat very healthily, I'm not going to eat bread, I'm going to give up biscuits, but I'm going to eat lots of greens, vegetables. But your subconscious, oh my God, I want a biscuit. And you're going to eat that biscuit because your subconscious trumps it. And once you eat the biscuit, it starts the whole process again. You're feeding the bacteria that wants the sugar, and sugar does so much damage. Sugar is worse than cocaine, is addictive, and is damaging. And I do treat people who, one of my things I learned in university was people with diabetes, and how difficult it is for people with diabetes to keep to the healthy lifestyle they need to be, because the damage is not immediate, the damage is delayed, but the damage is consistent and progressive. And people who have diabetes, it's almost like if you were sanding, the sugar is almost like sandpaper that damages the organs.
Wow.
But it's not immediately seen or felt. The damage comes later, and then it's too late. The damage is done. And diabetes is one of the main things that you actually can address through, through the eating, through the lifestyle. And that's where hypnotherapy for diabetics works, because you change that sort of mindset, actually start craving healthy food. So there's not an effort.
Thank
when
you
it's
so,
an effort,
so much, Gloria.
So anyway, that's about it. So that's a roundabout
You have
way.
amazing tips. Look at that. You have so many beautiful comments. There's a question from Saroj, if you can answer her afterwards, so we let AnnaLouise join us. But thank you so much for your knowledge, your wisdom, and for all these tips, because we really need to learn so much more. The book that you suggested, I actually got today, so I can't wait to start reading it, because I really want to learn more about this. And you saying that sugar is worse than cocaine, I think I'm going to throw away anything that I have which has sugar, which is not a lot, but there is something that is going to go in the bin. So thank you for that.
Yeah, everything with moderation, but if you eat a lot of sugary things, your gut will crave it, and it is very damaging. So
thank you so much. I did drop the link for you to be able to connect with Gloria, but do speak to her about these questions that you have. And also thank you, Gloria, for sharing your story, because we can really relate why and how you have this so much bag of knowledge that you are ready to share with us. Thank you for being here, and thank you so much for the questions. We really do appreciate it. If you have any other questions for Gloria and you're watching this on replay, do drop them in the comments below, and Gloria will definitely come back and answer. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Have a great afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, darling. Oh my goodness, what beautiful information that we really need to learn. And next up, last but not least, is AnnaLouise Haigh. And I really can't wait to have a chat with her, because she's going to speak about awakening your wow, and I can't wait to hear her words. Thank you so much, ladies, for participating in this. And if you would like to join us in our speed networking events and also being part of the Reach for Greatness Club, do click on the links above in the comments so that you can be a speaker here and share your knowledge and expertise with us in these spaces as a speaker. So I hope I can see AnnaLouise. I can't. Well, she's a viewer, but I can't add you yet. So if you can just close the phone app and open it again, if that's okay, I'll be able to add you as a speaker. So AnnaLouise is our last guest for today, but she calls herself the Soul Whisperer, which I find very interesting and beautiful, because she says it is time to awaken your soul, and it's time to awaken your wow and shine. And this is so much in tune and in frequency to what I do, because I teach bringing out people's wow. I make women realize their true potential, and it's really beautiful. I hope that's a smiley. Yes, perfect. And she's going to share with us how we can do this, how we can awaken our wow. So I'll try to add, okay, I don't need to do this. 1 second. Okay, I was tapping on something, so just give me 1 moment, because I did something that I don't need to be doing. So, AnnaLouise, if you can drop a comment, I will be able to see that you are there. Thank you so much. And I did press something else. which I don't need to use. So let me just write hi because I need to write something so that it gets out of the way. Sorry about that. Okay, so Gloria, I can still see you, but AnnaLouise, she's coming in soon. It's very, very exciting for me to be here today because as an online visibility coach, we are really making use of Facebook Lives. As you can see how powerful they are. They have been attracting so many different people during the whole 2 hours plus live that we've been here. So thank you so much for joining and watching. And if you're watching this on replay, let us know where you are coming in from. I'm very excited to have our last guest on. So hopefully AnnaLouise can come and join us. So let me just tag her in, and we're going to learn about awakening our wow with AnnaLouise. And yes, this is really, really, truly an exciting experience today. We really start learning. There we go, gorgeous, I found you. We really start learning so much more about ourselves and opening our knowledge and gathering more information from all this beautiful community that we are here in Reach for Greatness. So if you want to join us, do click on the links to join our club and join our speed networking events. It would be lovely, lovely to connect with you, and Sabine will definitely get back to you. Hello, gorgeous. Hi.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here.
Sorry, I thought I was all set up and then I wasn't.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I filled in as I like talking. You're lucky for that because I was continuing talking. AnnaLouise, the Soul Whisperer, she's going to teach us how to awaken our wow. AnnaLouise, take it away. I can't wait for you to be able to awaken us and make us aware of what we can do.
Well, thank you ever so much. And also thank you to Sabine for organizing all of this. And Angela, I'm really looking forward to this time with you. And I've been watching some of the speakers throughout the afternoon, and I just think I love the company I find myself in. And for me, that's really a wow moment as well. So for me, my business is called Awaken Your Wow. And originally it was called Awaken Your Wow and Shine. And that started about 6 years ago. And the reason I've shortened it is just because the web address was just getting far too long. But for me, you know, to awaken your wow is to start to really get quiet within yourself before that eruption of soul comes forward. So for me, your wow is your weaver of wisdom. And your weaver of wisdom is, to me, your soul. It weaves together the experiences of past lives and present life with the whole remit of helping you as the human, the host, but also the soul experience the level of consciousness known as your higher self. So that when you're doing that, when you get into that state, what happens is you become very fulfilled, content, self-knowing, self-honoring, and within that there is so much bliss to be gained, and it's that amazing sense of freedom. I liken it to be, you know, you've climbed up a big hill, the big hill of life, and you've arrived at the top, and you get there, and after a couple of deep breaths you look around and you basically just say wow, and your arms open and you want to embrace the horizon. You feel consumed, that's it, just right like that, and you feel consumed by the greatness around you, and at the same time completely connected to Mother Earth and to the universe. So it's that sense of, when I work with people to awaken their wow, what I'm doing is aiming for them to have those awakening moments along the way that will give them the chance to experience the mountaintop and to give them the chance to actually blossom in that way. So I find it really interesting that yours is called Wow as well, which is how we first connected even before all this was going. So yeah, and I'm happy to answer any questions along the way as well. So I'm more than happy for that. So for me, how I work with people is very much from a listening perspective. And my first book was called The Soul Whisperer, which is where I've taken my title from. And when I look at it, what I was doing there was putting down really a chronology of the experiences that I've had that awoken me from being a child right the way through to that point in my career when suddenly I was asked a question by a client who came for a therapy treatment but had just unfortunately miscarried. And she came in, sat down, and just had one question. And that question was one word long, and that was why. Why, when I'm healthy, I look after my body, my husband and I are a perfect match, why didn't my baby stay? And in my career as a therapist, to that point, I had dealt with a lot of drama, a lot of cancer, a lot of life issues, a lot of psychological problems with clients and such. But this one was different. And this one, basically, I can tell you what really happened. I sat as I listened to her, and I felt enveloped. And when I look back on it, it was like just the most amazing feeling. I felt completely enveloped and taken out of my conscious head. And suddenly my mouth started working. And from there, what happened was I found myself almost observing myself and looking at how, let's see, how would I say it? How I channeled through the information that this person needed. Now, I'm just going to take a break there, a moment, and just check my phone is charging. Yeah, it is.
I'm really finding here today that there's a common theme, so perhaps it's something we can look into, because I think this is the third or fourth person who's mentioning miscarriage. So if you have any questions, do drop them in the comments below, and any one of our speakers, and right now AnnaLouise can actually reply to you live.
Of course I can, and I'm happy to put in comments afterwards as well. So I don't know if you can see me okay, Angela. My screen keeps going darker and darker. Is it all right?
Everything is good, yes, from my end. Thank you so much for asking. And I'll check online as well. We're good.
Yeah, do. We're good. Excellent. Right. So in that moment when my client was sat with me and she was asking why, and there was the tears and there was just this vacuum of sorrow. And like I said, if I look back, I almost felt myself physically pull back, not in repulsion, but just literally something else stepped in. And I was basically observed myself delivering what ended up being a pivotal turning point in my whole career and in my life. And what I delivered was, with her permission, she wanted some insight. I said, right, here we go. Was the insight from her baby, her baby's soul perspective as to why it didn't stay. And it was phenomenal to witness that. I literally did witness that conversation between the two of us. And I sat there and I spoke what needed to be spoken. And I heard myself, I saw myself delivering this insight, and I saw her change and soothe. And from there, it became very obvious that this was what she needed to hear. And although I've always, literally since a child, had that sense of knowing and clairsentience or clairaudience, so like I get the messages basically, this is the first time really powerfully it said, look, you've got to stand and deliver here. And that was pretty life-changing for her. We ended up working together later on. She had skills that we did a skill swap, which was lovely. She went on to have 2 amazingly beautiful little daughters, which was lovely. Yeah, I know. And out of that, my book, The Soul Whisperer, was written, and the story is in there. So The Soul Whisperer is a book that is based around that experience, but the thread of the story runs through it, but all the personal development, spiritual development, insight, growth, and inspiration is weaved in there as well. It's quite a different book, really. And that came out 10 years ago, 10, 11 years ago now. And it's something that has just grown and resonated all throughout my work. So what I find I do, and what had been opened up within me in that experience, was the ability to sit back out of my conscious figuring things out head and go into my soul whispering head. So I'm listening to the person really intently, and I'm listening to what's not being said, and I'm listening to I'm listening between the lines, basically, taking like Gloria was saying, taking their health, what's going on physically with their health, because that's where I started 30 years ago, is as a complementary therapist, and this huge fascination with traditional Chinese medicine. So I listen with my health and body ears, shall we say. I listen with my spiritual ears, my soul ears, and between the experience that I've got and what I'm hearing with the person, it actually rolls into the voice of what the soul wants to say. Because what I find is that the soul will speak its truth through your health. It'll speak through your choices and decisions. It will speak through your experiences and repeated patterns. And it'll also speak through your facial features. Now, and that's not your expression. It is literally the facial features you're born with and the ones that don't change, basically. So that's another side to how I listen and use my face reading skills to embellish the conversation before we get into, right, here's some tips, tools, and techniques. So that's what I do, and that's how I do it, and it's something
That's
I've
so
honed over the
beautiful,
last
AnnaLouise. I'm
decade.
so
Thank you.
touched. Thank you for sharing the story. My goodness, this book must have so much knowledge. And I feel even the word soul in itself has so much knowledge, but perhaps, let's say normal, whatever the word normal means, standard human beings, we unfortunately don't know how to handle this word. We don't know this much of an understanding. Perhaps you can share with us how we can deepen our understanding with our soul so that we can become a more conscious and an aware and open-minded person and business entrepreneur at the end of the day as well.
I'd love to. So thank you very much for that question. So I know that the word soul has many different connotations, and traditionally we come across it when we are in religious situations. I also know that it often is interchanged with the word spirit, and those two can seem to be two sides of the same coin. And what I'll do is I'll just explain a bit about both and how I see it, how I see it, and how I was shown this whole level of energy works. So to me, my understanding is that your soul is a spark of divine energy, and it is sourced from the divine, and that is non-denominational. So it is universal, it's galactic, it's omniversal. You know, it is just energy that runs everything, and we as a soul, that is an offshoot of that same divine energy, and that divine energy wants to know and share and be in the full flow of unconditional love. And when that is possible, then the human who hosts the soul will find an amazing sense of bliss, and a lot of the problems drop away. Having said that, when a soul is in a human's existence, it brings with it the imprint of many lifetimes. So a soul is seeking, it's always questing. It wants to know and understand and fully experience the range of human existence through the filter of unconditional love. And when you think about it, pretty much everything that happens or everything that motivates an individual to do anything, whether it's blissfully positive or horrifically not positive, it is done out of a sense of a love that they carry for something or someone. So this is not to say that a soul has got a bad agenda or a good agenda. Souls are pure energy, which is neither male or female. And it's a bit, I liken it to sort of Play-Doh or something malleable like Blue Tack or something like that. Sorry, two brand names, but I liken it to that kind of thing where it is impressionable. So each time it has a hosting, there's an impression which is made in it. And those impressions, a bit, I guess, like clay, if you're modeling a lump of clay, those impressions stick in. And some will be really defined and really beautiful, and others might be a bit gnarly and so on. And this to me reflects the lifetimes that a soul has experienced. So as a soul is trying to grow and learn, it needs a carrier, it needs a host, and that is us, a human host. So the soul, basically, because it's so much light and it is purely light filled, And it can't experience its own growth unless it becomes more solid. And so as it descends towards the gravitational pull of Earth and us humans, it becomes more solid as a greater ball of energy. So when I was writing The Soul Whisperer, one of the questions I had to answer for myself before I could carry on writing was, at what point does the soul enter the body? Now, I fully appreciate that there are many different concepts and theories about this, and I think probably all of them are perfectly possible. However, this is where my studies in Chinese medical philosophy really came in, because in the 5,000-year-old tradition of Chinese medicine, they have a very powerful acupuncture point at the back of the head. It's in a groove just before you feel the skull start to protrude out. And that acupuncture point is used to control epilepsy, sinus problems, neck problems, migraine. It's really, really powerful. It's also the one where if you get that, you remember that karate chop in like kung fu movies where they go at the back, it's like, and that is where, right at the brain stem, that's it, right at the brain stem, just about, you know, the base of your skull, it is connected to the big energy center at the back of the skull. In the fetal position, the baby, of course, is curled up with its head exposed. And the Chinese believe that that acupuncture point at the back of your skull is like a hollow. It's like a receiving vessel. Yeah, just like that. And it's a receiving vessel. And what I was shown was that when the soul's energy is ready to inhabit its next lifetime, the energy travels to the fetus and it enters at the back of the skull, travels down the rudimentary spinal cord, which is already in existence, and ignites into the heart and starts the heart to work. The heart at that point is the only organ that is ready to function. And with that, the heart starts to beat, and that to me made a lot of sense. Now, this is what I was shown and this is what I was told, and I've sort of researched it through and tried it out because I'm a very logical person. I have to have stuff proven to me first before I'm happy to talk about it or write about it. So I did a lot of research, and from my training days when I used to teach anatomy and physiology, I know that the heart spontaneously starts to beat between days 21 and 23. And so that leaves a 2-day window, roughly a 2-day window, when the soul energy can be igniting into the heart to fire it into action. Interestingly, and I was really fascinated to hear what Gloria was saying, and I've looked at gut health related to the brain and so on myself. Interestingly, the heart cell, the cells that create the heart, also develop at the same time as the gut in the body, is my understanding. So we've got gut, heart, brain link. So to me, when we're talking about soul stuff and then we talk about the intuition, follow your gut instinct, we're tying it all together so that we've got, you know, 3 brains, if you like. We've got the gut, we've got the soul with its wisdom, and then we've got our mechanical, you know, tangible brain. So for me, that answered the question, how and when does the soul arrive in the body? And what I do know from experience, and this is from experience with clients, again, when I look back, I've had lots of drop-in moments when I was being shown stuff or told stuff. And because I'm quite like Velcro, I love to absorb stuff, and stuff sticks when I find out good information. What I found was that some of my pregnant ladies, or some of my ladies who wanted to get pregnant, so I worked a lot with infertility for a good period of years, they would talk about their existing child that would walk around the house, and one of them in particular, I really remember, it was really sweet. The child was collecting up its favorite toys and ones it didn't play with anymore, made a pile in the corner of its room. And the mum was saying, well, why are you doing that? And the little kid said, because when my sister gets here, she's going to need something to play with. And so the mum said, well, yes, that's lovely, of course. But at that point, the mum was not pregnant. They were trying, but nothing was happening. And then within 3 months, she was pregnant. And I've heard that kind of time scale, and I've with my friends who've had children and other clients who've had children, it seems that the incoming potential new soul checks out the environment first. It chooses the country, the culture, the parents, the environment, the circumstances for it to land in and start its next journey. Now, that's not to say it deliberately chooses a challenging set of parents or a challenging lifestyle, but the soul knows what it needs in order to take its next journey steps along its quest to know and understand and receive unconditional love. So it's a soul consciousness process, if that makes sense.
That's
So
beautiful.
for me,
Thank you.
does that sound clear?
It sounds very, very clear. And I don't know, it's my question. Would perhaps have the boy felt some kind of intuition himself, perhaps, about the
Yeah.
upcoming child, most probably, right?
Yes, that's very, very true. Great question. What I know is that children up to about the age of 7 can really sense not only spirit, which is the deceased energy, the energy of the deceased person, the soul of other people, and it's very much communicated. So when you see your little children playing with their invisible friend, that invisible friend's right there. It truly is there. And so with that, you know, what I find is that when kids start going to school and when they start getting into lots of socialization and other stuff outside them where they have to perform to certain levels and certain expectations, all of that gets shut down. And what I find interesting as well is that, you know, the fontanelle on the top of your head when you're a baby, you've got that open space. Well, that's right above the crown chakra. So when the child is growing, that is still quite open. And it doesn't seal up fully until about your early 20s. So that's one of the ways that they age somebody when they find a skull, as it were. But when that crown chakra is so open and the connection of the thread to the universe, to the divine source is so strong, that child is just in regular communication. It's not abnormal. And it's only when we as the outer people subdue it, judge it, challenge it, make fun of it, homogenize it, try and fit them into a little box to make grades tick along, that's when it all gets cut across. And the lucky ones escape. The lucky ones keep that connection, or I believe, as we're more destined to nowadays, is to reignite that connection so that we can be of greater service here in our soul's truth and in our human wisdom as well.
That's beautiful. AnnaLouise, you actually have 2 comments and questions, actually 3. So Sabine says, gosh, my daughter has amazing imagination. Yes, it's sad it gets shut down. I totally back that up. I was a teacher as well, and you can see the change between when kids stop imagining. And Lynn here shares with us, I had several miscarriages and began to be told to stop trying. I felt I would succeed, then I had a miscarriage, and the little soul began to talk to me. Maybe you would like to comment about that before we go to the next question.
Wow. Okay, so that was Lynn. Lynn,
yes, and Lynn also comments, sorry to have stopped you. She said, don't give up, Mom, you will have a baby. Okay, that's very, very powerful. Thanks, Lynn, for sharing that.
I'd love to know if she did. I'd love to know if she did have a baby. Maybe she can put a comment in. Right, Lynn.
I am waiting. I am a little girl. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Well, that will manifest when the time is right. And those souls are choosing, in my experience, sometimes, and it's really unfortunate when it happens repeatedly to someone in particular, but if we go back to the comment that I made, that the soul's primary driver is to know and understand and receive unconditional love. What if the souls of the babies who miscarried got what they needed? And they got what they needed from Lynn and her partner in such a way that for the soul, it was perfect. And the soul was happy, it got what it needed in that lifetime. And therefore, the baby didn't go to full term, because it couldn't get better than that. And I hope I'm not being insensitive, because I do fully appreciate the humanness of all of the miscarriage situation. However, it really does sing to me that Lynn, you've got a very special, warm, open heart, and a soul that will have signed up to help other souls learn how to experience that unconditional love. So if you like, your soul, I would say, Lynn, is like a placeholder. It holds the light for other souls to come in so that they can get what they need. And maybe these were really, you know, maybe these souls had had such a hard time in previous lifetimes that
So she's sharing,
they needed
she's
what you
actually
gave
9.
them.
She says she is 9 years old now and perfectly okay. And she spoke to me until I conceived her. This is so beautiful, Lynn. Thanks for sharing. That's really, really beautiful. I'm so happy, AnnaLouise, that you brought this up. We have another question, if we can just go right to it, from Venus. I'm finally not sick, 17 years. Gut problems, kidney stones, surgeries, then opiates. I'm sorry, I don't know that word for pain. Now I have plans, it's almost all gone. I'm being led to exactly who and what I need to know now. I'm so grateful to still be to still be alive. I never thought I'd say that. Once I realized I was not going to die, I decided to stop just existing. I wish I'd followed my intuition, the strongest I've ever felt before this started, but then who would have I become? I'm excited to learn more of why I couldn't die. This is very strong as well. Thank you so much for sharing, Venus.
Okay, Venus. So it's very possible that the soul that you host has got such an amazing drive within it that it just won't let your physical body go. And it's got things to do, and it's got to open your heart a bit more to who you are and what you're all about. And what I would suggest is that perhaps you spend some time just journaling around it. And the question is, the question is to yourself, what is it my soul wants me to know? And sit back, put yourself in a beautiful place, nice and quiet, no distractions, no phone, no nothing. And sit back and just ask yourself in your stillness, what is it my soul wants me to know? Because if your soul hasn't let you go, if it has held on because it needs to be here, then there is so much more that it wants to experience for its own growth. But in doing that, it will take you as the human host into directions and adventures and understandings and self-knowing more than you ever could do. And so treat it as a gift and allow yourself to really open up to that soul's message and follow your gut instinct. And you know what I find a lot of the time when I'm mentoring people, when I'm working on courses with them, is that when we sign up for the soul journey or we venture into our awakening, we all tend to think it's going to be, fluffy bunnies and unicorns. And you know what? Often it isn't. It's a tough old bumpy road sometimes. However, when you start to realize the bumps are not just dips in the road, they're actually chances to deep dive into who you are and what you're about, then you can emerge on the other side actually with more about you than you went into the dip in the first place. So Venus, I would really suggest that you look at the emotions, and if you want Venus to pop me a private message after this, I will interpret the illnesses that you've had in relationship to the soul messages that you may well be experiencing, and because that's a private kind of thing, but I'm more than happy to look at your health and health pattern and interpret that into soul wisdom messages for you.
Thank you so much, AnnaLouise. I appreciate. So Sabine says this is an amazing journaling exercise. I had quite a soul searching few months myself, and now you see what's come out of it, which is reach for greatness. AnnaLouise, if there's anyone watching on replay, they definitely can pop in the questions, right? And you will get back to them, because this has been Absolutely. So beautiful and revealing and, mind-blowing for me here as, as an interviewer, but also as a business entrepreneur. When you really, really get in touch with who you are and why you're here, it really helps you grow. And as Venus was sharing, it allows you to remove all that all those links and that's holding you back, so that you can start experiencing life instead of existing, but you can, you know, start living, which is really, really powerful. Thank you so much. I know that you have a free challenge coming up soon. Would you like to share this with us before you leave us?
I do. I have a free challenge coming up, and it starts on the 24th of July, so a little bit on from now. It's called the Mindful Living Challenge, and it's all about helping you get more in depth into mindfulness and mindful living practices, but from a really fun, easy, everyday kind of way. And what I'm going to be doing is delivering that in my group, which is Mindful Living to Awaken Your Wow. That's on Facebook, of course. And all you need to do is click that to join. And with that, you'll get me 5 days on the trot, nice and live, every day, lots of tips, tools, and techniques. And the reason why I do this is to give you an introduction as to how easy it is to start really taking the advantage of mindful living techniques, because when you do that, it starts to awaken your wow, and it starts to bring your soul's voice into your consciousness. So it's not just mindfulness as in being still, it's completely getting into the awakening your wow. And I love delivering these. In the meantime, if anybody wants to chat through on Messenger, please pop me a message. I'm more than happy to follow through, and you'll be joining a great bunch of people on the Mindful Living Challenge. And I look forward to seeing you in the group. And there's lots more goodies in that group. So thank you very much, Angela. Thank you very much, Sabine. Thank you, Venus and Lynn, and everybody else for being here. And thank you for watching on the replay.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing your gifts. This is so touching. And thank you for your knowledge and expertise, and for giving us a dimension that perhaps some of our viewers had never heard of. And now things are falling into place. So do connect with AnnaLouise. She's a lovely, lovely woman, and you can tell that she's an expert in her field. So join that free challenge and connect with her. Thank you so much for your input in here, and we look forward to chat very, very soon. Thank you so much. Speak soon.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Aroj. Very insightful
Bye-bye.
story and bringing your wow. Exactly. Okay, so that was an amazing day full of so much knowledge. And you can see that it's not just about business and, you know, having so many technical things in place, but it's also about love and healing and self-love and acceptance. And today we touched on numerous topics through our guest speakers who have been in here, who have really supported us in Reach for Greatness. And they're also part of the Reach for Greatness Club, which is where you can become a speaker as well, and you'll have also free trainings and so many more fun things happening as well, and also support for you being a parent. So there's so much happening. We really would like to invite you there. So do click on the link above to join the club. And if you would like to join our speed networking events, there's also a link for that, so that you'll be able to get to know numerous beautiful, amazing women who are now joining the Reach for Greatness team. So after that, I read Sabine's comment to finish this. Thank you so much, Angèle, for hosting this show today. You are amazing. Thank you so much, Sabine, for having me and for trusting me with your, you know, with your castle, with your dream. I'm very touched. It was a beautiful, amazing experience to listen to the different things. I happened, I think, to be in the perfect space to interview, because for myself as a business entrepreneur, I know that my gifts and my intuition and my self-love play a very big role for me as a business entrepreneur. And even though I teach people how to do Facebook Lives and to share their story on Facebook Lives to attract their ideal clients, this is who I am and what I do. Through this, you have also gotten to know the ladies who I've been interviewed today a tiny bit more, because whilst sharing their story, you realize where they're coming from and what their gifts are, which is exactly the aim of the game. So I would like to really and truly thank you for watching this. If you know of anyone who would like to hear these interviews, or perhaps who would like to join us to be a speaker in the Reach for Greatness Club, or perhaps who would like to join us on the speed networking events, do share this live with them. Do connect them with myself or with Sabine, and we would absolutely love to help you so that we continue reaching for your greatness, and together with our greatness we can build bigger dreams together. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a fantastic time like I did. And if anyone needs to connect with any one of our speakers, there are the links in the comments. And also, I wish you a fantastic rest of the day. Thanks for watching. You are amazing, you are beautiful, and you are wondrous. Thank you so much.